This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Well, we're back at it again today. This is day 4, session number 5 of the Congress. That is the reason why I have the title of the video. The Battle for Speaker of the House, episode 5, the Kevpire strikes back. They're currently doing their house prayer. Let's go over and check them out.
Strength to be found only in you.
Is Smokey making an appearance?
And show your mercy on the American people as they and we approach today with a host of feelings. The abiding emotional and spiritual unease stemming from the memory of inconceivable unrest.
Here's Mr. Smokey Bong.
The exhausting frustration over the prolonged impasse in the deliberations.
Speaking of Smokey Bong.
The fear that resides in the hearts of
I ain't high enough for this shit. Sorry to interrupt your prayer,
who are affected
House Chaplain.
Resources and security, while this legislative body remains unseated. We wait.
Let's make sure we gather in a group and telepathically communicate to a deity, because that's not weird at all.
And in you we will find reason to rejoice, for despite all that makes today, we trust.
Hail Satan!
May your unfailing love rest upon us.
Welcome everyone, Sky Comet, Meat Cakes, Warlord.
Amen.
And all you lurkers I see in here already. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Of the last day's proceedings and announces to the House the approval thereof. Representative.
I will go ahead and tell you that as of reporting this morning, Kevin McCarthy still has not reached a deal. It's the same old story, same old song and dance. He is saying he is close, but they are not quite there yet. Oh, they're saying the pledge. Just another day in mass shooting USA.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
Madam Clerk, a point of order. There's not a quorum present.
Oh, we may not even get proceedings. Not enough Republicans showed up to form a quorum.
The chair will count for a quorum.
I believe 2/3 of the House is required for a quorum. Glad these fucks can just not show up for work. Shouldn't you have your salary docked or something? High quality hookers and weed in hell. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sky Comet, that's why I love you. Once again, seeing the awesome... We're going to do round 12 if they have a quorum. Also, Igloo, good afternoon. You're at work, they should be too, exactly. Now, apparently they've got a couple of Republicans that have family business they need to attend to. I think one of them had a death in the family, and they are attending the funeral. So it could be that just not enough Republicans show up to deny a quorum. And we adjourn until Monday, and we do it again. I don't know what's going to happen. We're in completely uncharted territory. Once again, this shit has not happened in over 100 years. 1856 was the last time this happened. The 118th Congress has not been sworn in. There are no rules on the floor. One of the reasons why we're getting such awesome C-SPAN coverage, because C-SPAN is not governed by the rules of the governing party. So they just get to shoot whatever the fuck they want. I'm not high enough for this shit. Thank you, Curiouser. I don't know if I will be ready for more coffee after I finish this cup, or if it's going to be lunchtime when I finish this cup.
Call has been made by GOP conference chair.
We may not be here very long.
Members of the clerk staff counting the number of members present. Kevin McCarthy.
Well, thank you, Curious Sir. Would you like a bong? Would you like to come in and take a bong hit? Give me like 3 minutes, and this motherfucker will have a green hit for you.
Official. And as we wait, reports from various congressional media about what may or may not happen today. Chad Pergram of Fox News, their Capitol Hill bureau chief, saying that there's a low chance that the House Speaker drama will end today, according to his sources.
Yeah, but are we going to
Bill Kapoor of NBC.
are we going to get a vote? That's the question right now.
Patrick McHenry.
Oh yes, thank you for the resub, Sky comment.
Yesterday and the day before, so the trend is our.
Now it's pretty clean, so watch yourself when you hit it.
One more from Nicholas Wu of Politico, saying that House Democrats have once again said that they will vote against a motion to adjourn if it's.
It does smell like that's why I lit the
that's
candle.
according to a notice from the whip's office. So Democrats want to stay.
On some of my clothes or something? I think it's just I haven't put fresh litter in the litter box in a while.
Votes, at least that's what we expect they'll be doing. If Republicans.
That's probably it. It's probably just the litter box is pretty pissy.
And
I cleaned it out just a few minutes ago because I was like, woo, one of them took a shit.
Here on C-SPAN.
My litter box? Oh. I have a lot less bandanas than I used to have. I used to have, what, 100 and some? Too many. I probably have 30 at this point. But once upon a time, I did have over 100. Yes, they made me take my bandana off at the DMV. Well, I was trying to fluff it as I was, because they've still got the COVID barrier there, so like I could see my reflection in it. So I was like trying to fix my hair before I took the picture. Oh my God, the cats! You guys, I look like a weirdo. I think I look like a weirdo. Yeah, fair enough. I look like a weirdo all the time. Thank you, Curiouser. I appreciate it. Do you want to step on camera? You want to say hi? They want to know what you look like. No, she says. No. And she won't even grab a microphone. I've offered her a microphone. Well, that looks like Kyle Busch. When did they let Kyle Busch have a seat in Congress? Warlord, I do stay away from children. I hate them. I hate them with a burning passion. Luna's pretty cool.
The House will be in order. The chair counts 275 members present. A quorum is present.
We getting a vote. Strap in. They may vote to adjourn. The McCarthy side may throw a vote to adjourn out there.
The question recurs upon the election of a speaker. The tellers will please come forward and take their seats.
How'd my numbers drop like that? There were so many of you in here, and then it dropped down to 3, and then the numbers pop back up. What the fuck? A sub baby. I didn't see that comment. Sky comment. A sub baby name. Sub baby name for Sky. Apparently, my picture on my driver's license scared everyone. Yes, because I looked that creepy. The woman at the booth, like at first she was kind of like, stoic and shit, not wanting to cut up. But then like after I've made so many jokes, she's kind of loosened up. And then like she's kind of joking with the woman next to her and shit. I like that I could bring that kind of joy to the DMV. Everybody was all stuffy when I walked in, but then I make a few jokey jokes. loosens everybody up. Then she's talking about getting carpal tunnel from her keyboard. And I was like, you know, the store down the road, they got just keyboards you can buy for like $1 a piece in a bucket. They'll have like 20 in there. You might find you one that is more comfortable for you. And she's like, you know, I might do that.
The tellers.
I bring tidings of joy whenever I go to whenever I go places.
For what purpose does the
That's not true.
California rise?
Madam Clerk, I rise to nominate Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House.
He's gonna have less votes. You have Charlie Kirk face.
You live in sexual anarchy.
The gentleman is recognized.
I'm still not high enough for this shit.
And while I rise to that end, I think it's critically important to note that this is actually not about Kevin McCarthy.
Well, they seemed a little, you know, stoic when I first walked in, but I loosened them right up.
Conference to our current majority over the last 4 years. Those things are unassailable. But this isn't about him.
More fighting, less voting. This motherfucker gonna cry.
Kevin McCarthy. I put no single human being on a pedestal, and certainly not before God and not before the gift that he has blessed us with this grand experiment that we call the United States of America. This isn't about Kevin McCarthy, but the matters before us are of stupendous magnitude. A federal republic.
Oh, I look weird because my nightlight, I've got it set to like automatically come on.
It's a wobbly top that's just a few mere revolutions away from
a wobbly top
at any given moment, except for the exertions of men.
There we go. I look like I got more color now.
Serve her with pure and selfless intent, just as our founding fathers did, just as Abraham Lincoln and Ronald Reagan did.
Let's get to it, you long-winded scumbags. That's why I try to make jokey jokes for you
Our
guys.
nation today and over the last 2 years has seen, we are certainly a wobbly top. Today we have a southern border that's wide open.
You're describing a dreidel.
And as a result of
Is this McCarthyism?
Today, 200.
Should I make a joke about that? Should I talk about history?
And roughly 5,000 illegal immigrants will be victims of human smuggling. Today, our nation's debt is $31 trillion, and that will go up just as
Yesterday we had a Republican even give a speech about how, like, my constituents want us to spend more money, not cut the budget.
in our nation's history, our law enforcement.
ANCOM, I will give you that one.
And they are
McCarthyism never really ended, just changed
And on that
forms.
topic,
I would say it went dormant for a little bit.
Especially thank the Capitol Hill Police for what they do. We thank them not only for what they've done.
Because I think they genuinely did run out all the communists and the socialists. They busted the unions. They really did kill the left movement for a generation. If not more than a generation. Once again, I can't believe this man didn't feel embarrassment. Matt Gaetz stood up and clapped for McCarthy.
Do it every day, and we should thank them every day. Today, the Chinese Communist Party will orchestrate the theft of another $1 billion of intellectual property.
The FBI was already engaged in it. I mean, the precursor to the FBI was investigating socialists in like the 1920s.
People around this planet, deaths as a result of a genocide within their borders, and deaths as a result of.
But there was no left movement to infiltrate come the 80s and 90s.
Fronts against China. So today isn't about a single human being. It's not about Kevin McCarthy. It's about the 13 Gold Star families who still suffer today mercifully without closure and without
Are you goat versus fish?
Unnecessarily loss of their loved ones in Afghanistan over a year ago. And today, speaking of our military,
I'm gonna ask Goat versus Fish come on, be co-host of the Friday Night Freak Show here soon. I need to reach out to him.
Suicide. These, Madam.
By the way, I've been coy about it. Vosh said no.
This isn't about a.
I've talked to Vosh, and Vosh said no to me.
It's about 330 million Americans. It's about the preservation of the Constitution and the liberties guaranteed therein. It's about the 246 years of pride and
And
pride.
there might be a video premiering on YouTube right now
above all,
where I'm critical of Walsh.
It's about ensuring that this beautiful journey
Maybe I held my fire up until he turned me down about being on the Friday Night Free
doesn't
Show.
happen if we don't address and rise above the multiple existential crises that we experience today. We must be victorious in this cause, and victory begins with allowing this body to get.
I asked him to co-host the Friday Night Free Show.
Now, winning isn't easy, okay? Winning
He
isn't
was
easy, but winning
very nice about it, very
Of all
gracious,
folks in this chamber, I know that
and complimentary towards me.
I represent a district where
And a
only
decent
29%
proposal.
of my voters are registered
I
in
mean,
the same party as I.
yeah.
But I engage and I communicate with the other 71% because it's the only way
And I don't know that
win.
Vosh was who I was talking to,
way
right? It could have
that
been
the
one of
nation
Vosh's people.
wins. It ain't easy, but it's necessary. But the noble wins, the most important wins, never are easy. But we take on these missions just as passionately as Colonel
Because
Chambers.
whether or not they actually knew who I was and acknowledged me is debatable by the message, right? Because it seemed it was very complimentary, but also it was kind of generic.
For bragging rights, we hold the majority to govern responsibly. We hold the majority to protect.
I went back and forth on whether I was actually talking to someone
around the foundational
or
Constitution,
whether I got a boilerplate.
that I've been willing to give my life to defend since the age of 18.
But there were two messages, so I think the first one was the boilerplate, and the second one was like, oh, hey, let me follow up. And
We are, in fact, on the verge of a very important victory. A victory for the people, a victory by the people.
I don't know about the verge, but we've been edging this entire time. This has been a week of edging Congress.
It dawns on me as I look across the aisle after being here for nearly 3 years that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting many of you because you've chosen to stay at home and not vote here in person.
I have not noticed them being under a time limit, but it's been like 5 to 10 minutes on their nominating speeches.
The member-elect is reminded to direct his remarks to the chair.
Well, it's a pleasure to see 212 of you here today. It's also a pleasure to see the end of the proxy voting. And let me end with this. I'm extremely proud.
Yeah, they're going to end proxy voting right as we're getting ready to get a new wave of
Last 4 days,
COVID.
they haven't been ideal. They've been difficult. But I do see fighters. I see patriots who love this country and want to make things better. I see folks who are willing to do whatever is necessary.
I see right-wing morons.
Better serve the nation. I see men and women who are willing to serve her with that pure and selfless intent, even if that service means undergoing the dentistry that we've experienced over the last 4 days and in the wake.
Dentistry, that is something that like I wouldn't rub in the face of the people watching this on
Let me be
TV.
clear, these are not concessions to the rules.
A lot of us don't have access to dentistry, and it's one of the things that we're upset about upset with Congress about.
Party have decided and been willing to extend the time aperture so that we can get to a solution, a product of compromise, but also a product that will fix the ills induced by the Democrat majority
time
over the last 4
aperture.
years.
What does aperture mean in relation to time here? Because like I know the term from
behavior in the
video.
swamp. And so this isn't about Kevin McCarthy. It's not about the 434 members in this chamber. It's about the 330 million
I
Americans.
never knew that aperture just meant an opening or a hole, which makes perfect sense because it's like the aperture is how wide you let the lens open
I have the
on a
honor of
camera.
nominating him at the direction of the Republican Conference as the Speaker of the House of the 100.
Learn something new. Aperture means an opening, a hole, or gap. I put it in her aperture.
For what
You live
purpose
in
does the gentleman
sexual
from South
anarchy?
Carolina rise?
Madam Clerk, I rise to nominate my friend, colleague, and leader of the House Democratic Caucus, Hakeem Jeffries, for Speaker of the United
The
States
gentleman
House
is
of
recognized.
I didn't see him. He's a happy, shiny people, you say.
Madam Clerk, I want to begin by thanking you for your contribution to maintaining
I'm sorry you're in a lot of pain,
and
Income.
honor of this august body, the eyes of the country.
This is going to be vote number 12. Vote number 12, also good afternoon clinically. You can tell I'm used to being on of an evening. Oh, I'm sorry, your spouse. Please send them our love, hugs and kisses, thoughts and prayers, all that good shit.
On us today.
I sounded very sarcastic when I said that, but I actually genuinely meant it.
I often refer to this hall as America's classroom.
I come across that way after doing this for so long.
Hey,
and
Justin,
our actions
are you trolling?
should serve as lessons for those who may be watching and are listening.
No, we're going into the 12th vote.
That which they see and hear will help them gain understanding and appreciation for the.
We had other votes, like votes to adjourn and votes for a quorum and shit, but like this is the 12th vote
This body has
for
a
speaker.
unique role in this government. What we do and how we do it will determine whether our pursuit toward a more perfect union
Also, fuck Jim Clyburn.
in earnest. No day in recent history
I
underscores
meant to say that earlier when he popped up, but we got sidetracked. Fuck Jim Clyburn.
January 6, 2021. Exactly 2 years ago today.
Oh yeah, it is January 6th, isn't
Our
it?
resolve was tested when the virus
Are we supposed to leave like crack out for Mike Lindell on January 5th?
That was on crack.
integrity of this democracy and undermine our Constitution. The greatness of this country and the resiliency of our democracy were put at peril. But we survived. The
You leave dildos out for the Proud Boys.
explains that the document was established in part to secure the blessings of liberty,
Remember the 6th of...
but also
God damn it.
to posterity. In
I had
this
something
body,
there.
we are tasked with protecting our
How ironic that I am on stream during the day with you guys on January 6th yet again.
and freedom for all. Every
And to all a good night.
the American people evaluate our stewardship.
I remember that day. Well, we actually on 420 this year when we did the anniversary show, we watched me watching January 6th and like my reaction changed throughout the day.
And casting their votes.
Because I came on telling everyone how, this is a routine vote. This is going to be boring. We're not going to be here very long unless the Republicans drag it out. And they did.
Maybe most
Boy,
of
did they.
This is the only investment they will ever
Yeah, we're
make.
watching Congress live as well. However, I had a cooler setup on January 6th
For the first time
because I had both the Senate and the House on screen at the same time.
after 11
We had them on top of each other, and then we were taking the audio from whichever one we wanted. It was really cool.
organize and begin to work on behalf of those who elected us to serve.
I mean, Trump getting elected Speaker of the House is
For Speaker,
one, he doesn't want it. He absolutely deplored the idea when it was floated 2 years ago now, I would say.
and enhancing this
A year and a half ago, in the aftermath of January 6th.
There is some dispute among
He only got one vote yesterday, and everyone laughed at Matt Gaetz for voting for him.
but I consider it to be true regardless. De Tocqueville is credited in some
By the way, I was sitting here this morning.
America is
I was like doing some work.
is
I had the
good.
news on in the background. I had like CBS News or NBC News or something.
America.
And they brought on Dan Crenshaw.
Greatness of America.
And I just popped. I was like, Dan Crenshaw, I'd give anything to piss in his open eye
The
hole.
American people.
He cruisers like down the halls. Like, I heard that like 20 times at least
in the
yesterday.
balance. Because the goodness of the American people is at stake. We Democrats are offering the people of America, through this unique body, a good man who has the best interest of the American people.
Oh, just so you guys know, I would give anything
to preserve
to piss in Dan Crenshaw's eye pussy.
That make this country great. Madam Clerk, I am honored to carry out the directives of the House Democratic Caucus and submit to this august body the name of Hakeem Jeffries to be Speaker of the United States House of Representatives.
Outside chance this man actually becomes the Speaker of the House. Still do not know what is going to happen with this process. Catherine Clark, the minority whip next to Hakeem Jeffries. Had to look her name up like fucking 30 times. Like, what was her name again? God damn it.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida rise?
To submit a name for nomination for the position of Speaker of the House.
How was she exactly? Was she personable?
My colleague from California, Mr. Garcia, knows the incredibly high regard I hold.
Are we nominating Trump, or are we nominating Hearn, or are we nominating Donalds?
But I must take some exception with some of the comments he made in his nomination of Mr. McCarthy. First, he said that Mr. McCarthy has earned the position. You only earn the position of Speaker of the House if you can get the votes. Mr. McCarthy doesn't have the votes today.
I mean, look, okay, so here's the thing, is most politicians, like, you meet them and, like, you understand how they got where they were, because they're personable.
And so one must wonder, Madam Clerk, is this an exercise?
Many of them have this ability to, like, remember your name, to meet you once, and then, like, 10 years later, remember your name, and that'll fucking stick with you, right? So if you meet a politician and they learn your name, like, you're just shaking their hand, you are a tiny fraction of their day, and then you come back to them a few years later, and they call you by your name, that is, that will cause you to be a voter for life.
Republicans elected.
The gentleman is not recognized.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
Members are reminded not to engage in personalities against other members of the House.
One of the McCarthyites are very fucking tired.
One earns the position of Speaker by raising enormous sums of money, and there is no doubt that the individual that was nominated by Mr. Garcia is the LeBron James of special interest fundraising in this town. There is nobody better, but I would suggest that there are qualifications for Speaker that are far more important. There are attributes that are far more important.
Personal attacks, yeah.
Jordan has those, and I am submitting his name for nomination at this time. I heard my colleague from California, Mr. Garcia, say that we seek pure, selfless intent, and I could not agree more with that assessment. Mr. Jordan, indeed, is reflective of pure, selfless intent.
Wait, we're nominating Jim Jordan again?
Can be said for the Republican alternative. Let's start with purity. Many of you have seen.
Hey, if you're getting accused of being a Nazi on the reg, you might not want to get up and give a speech about purity on the House floor.
Meeting of the minds, a grand bargain that would allow us to proceed with the speakership. And I want all of my colleagues to know, regardless of your perspective on me, how impure some of those negotiations have gone. And I want the country to know. The principal goal of the people who are...
Did you guys see Joe Green?
On the Republican side...
He's like, what does N-word talking about?
Unlock the potential of all of the members to be able to cast votes on individual bills and to offer amendments on appropriations acts. And we're also concerned about spending that has ballooned our debt and borrowed against the future generations of American citizens. And Mr. McCarthy said, well, goodness, to the objectors, A lot of you want to be on the Oversight and Judiciary Committee, and you never submit your names to be on the Rules Committee or the Appropriations Committee. And so, gosh, if you'll get a list of folks who are willing to come early on fly-in days for rules, and folks who are willing to take on the extra burden of our appropriators who work so hard, then I'll certainly work to do that. And so we endeavored in good faith, in pure good faith, to create that list. And then what did Mr. McCarthy do? He went out to the media and came to other members of the conference and said, see, they just want jobs for themselves. That
was true.
Pure selflessness.
Ooh, they are nowhere near a deal.
Selling shares of yourself to the lobby corps and then doing their bidding at the expense of the American people. But there certainly is.
Well, Stream Elements bot, you're a little late, aren't you?
Driven almost exclusively by personal ambition, and that ambition is paralyzing the House now. Madam Clerk, at this time, there is great trust in Mr. Jordan, and that's why I am nominating him. And there is insufficient trust in Kevin McCarthy. There are some...
Jim Jordan is like the last person you want to trust. He covered up the sexual abuse of... Oh, that explains why Matt Gaetz is all for him. God damn. It all makes sense.
Great, awesome, powerful position it is now to more of a ceremonial position, almost akin to the Speaker in the British House of Commons. I referred to it previously as a straitjacket that some of us were trying to construct with better rules and better personnel because we do not trust Mr. McCarthy with power, because we know who he will use it for, and we are concerned.
So he wants him to be like the old dude that's cracking jokes on everybody that I really like when we watch Prime Minister's Questions. I could go for that, but like Jim Jordan or Kevin McCarthy, neither are suited for that. Let's get Al Franken in here.
Gentlewoman from Colorado rise.
Madam Clerk, I rise to enter a name for nomination for Speaker.
Karmic, good afternoon. Sit down, pervert, indeed. Who are you talking about, Lauren Boebert or Matt Gaetz?
Kevin Hern, the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, the largest...
Okay. Lauren Boebert, I don't know to be a pervert, but her husband did indeed expose himself to some kids.
Can unite this Republican conference and put
I'm
forward
just guilt by association on
the
that
agenda
one.
that we all promise to work hard on and serve our American people to the best of our abilities with. I believe that Kevin Hern will be a fighter for our national debt. I get texts on a regular basis at how inflation is hurting families, how grocery prices are skyrocketing continuously.
So Gaetz nominated Jordan this time.
And we'll bring that to the floor to help.
Why would he nominate somebody different?
I nominate Kevin Hern as Speaker. Thank you.
Why wouldn't he just vote with Hern? I don't understand his game.
Reading clerk will call the roll.
Here we go. This is going to be about an hour-long process here. We'll go in alphabetical order through their names. The tallies are going to be different from yesterday, so Hakeem Jeffries should still secure 212 votes. I believe there are Republicans missing, so putting McCarthy at like 199. They're so far out of ideas that they're back to Jordan. But Jordan's only going to get one fucking vote here.
Adderholt.
Most of the Never Kevins are going to vote for Hern.
Aguilar. Jeffries.
It is caucus chair Pete Aguilar, the third in command in the Democratic caucus.
Allen. McCarthy.
We're actually at 434 names. One is dead. There is one member of Congress that is dead.
McCarthy.
He died between the election and today.
McCarthy.
But we are missing 3 possibly. So it's gonna change the Republican side. I don't think there's anybody missing from the Democrats.
Babin. McCarthy. Bacon.
So the magic number is 6 or 7.
Baird.
Not voting for McCarthy. Whether they vote for Jordan and other or Hern.
McCarthy. Ballant. Jeffries. Banks. McCarthy. Barr.
McCarthy. Bergan.
But now also, like, there was speculation about how many votes were needed and everything. Like, so Kevin McCarthy has 201 votes. Hakeem Jeffries has 212. 218 is what is needed. That's where I got the 17 from. Like, Kevin McCarthy needs 17 votes to get to 218.
Barra.
But the tally can change if there are not people present or if they just vote present.
McCarthy.
That lowers the threshold for a majority.
Jeffries. Vice.
Because, like, you guys corrected me on the 17 yesterday. I'm like, where did I get 17 from? 17 is the number that he needs to get to the 218 if all 434 vote. One had been voting present. It's a fuck ton of math, and I don't like math.
McCarthy. Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina.
Wait a minute, who voted for Jim Jordan this time?
McCarthy.
I thought he was just only going to get Gates's vote. Oh, is this somebody who changed their vote? Is that why we're getting an applause?
Blumenauer. Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries. Boebert. Hearn. Bonamici. Jeffries. Bast. McCarthy.
Kia Talib. Making her way to the House floor. Just want to point that out because
Pennsylvania.
I might have a crush on her.
Jeffries. Rakeen.
Transformational rule changes. Give the power to the rank and file. Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Ooh, was he a flip? Has progress been made here?
Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. McCarthy. Buck.
We might have an interesting outcome here. Nicole. Good afternoon, my friend. So glad to see you again.
McCarthy. Budzinski. Jeffries. Burchett. Burchett.
I like a sassy woman.
Burgess.
An intelligent, sassy woman with a mouth on her.
Burleson. McCarthy. Bush. Jeffries. Calvert. McCarthy. Kemick. McCarthy. Caraveo.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not being consistent right now. We're not usually on a Friday afternoon. However, ironically, I'm on January 6th, and we're covering Congress yet again.
McCarthy. Carl.
Last time I was streaming on January 6th, and we were covering Congress, things went a little south. Literally, they brought, like, the Confederate flag onto the floor.
McCarthy. Carter of Louisiana. Jeffries. Carter of Texas.
Now I'm anxious. We might have movement.
McCarthy.
But is McCarthy going to have enough flips? It appears that we've had two people flip thus far.
Kassar.
But that will not be enough to save Kevin McCarthy. Karmic, we are glad to have you in the community.
Jeffries.
We just get high and we watch a lot of substantive stuff. We watch a lot of stuff that's very serious, but we make a hell of a lot of fun of it.
Castro of Texas. Jeffries. Chavez DeReamer. McCarthy. Sheriff Phyllis McCormick.
Like, I don't know if I could just sit here and watch this shit without making jokes about it.
Chu.
Wait a minute, I totally do that.
Jeffries.
Right now, the betting odds seem to be on Steve Scalise of being speaker. I thought Kevin McCarthy's political career was over after Wednesday.
Jeffries.
Am I a variety streamer? I'm pretty stuck on politics. Is my bread and butter.
Cleaver.
We do the comedy show on Friday nights.
Klein.
And then every now and again I'll pop up and play some video games.
Cloud.
But Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we find out what that news be doing. Was this a flip?
Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde.
I feel I need to give you an animal at the end of every stream just as a palate cleanser. Was this let me pull up Politico blog or something.
Cohen.
A live blog where I can
McCarthy. Collins. McCarthy. Comer. McCarthy. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Hearn. Crawford. McCarthy. Crenshaw. McCarthy. Crockett. Jeffries. Crow. Jeffries. Cuellar. Jeffries. Curtis. McCarthy. Davids of Kansas.
I mean, if you consider this substantive.
Jeffries. Davidson. McCarthy.
I thought he lost after Wednesday. I thought his political career was done after Wednesday.
Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina.
Well, we know Matt Gaetz is going to vote.
Dean of Pennsylvania.
6 or 7 is the line, or at least it was yesterday.
Jeffries. De La Cruz.
Once again, I don't know how many, like, it seems that there are a couple of Republicans missing today.
DeLauro. Jeffries.
I'd love to see Hakeem Jeffries win, but I don't think that's going to happen. That would take Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert voting for him or voting present to allow him to take the majority.
Desjardins. McCarthy.
Once again, Desjardins is the one that I believe he had a mistress and he forced her to have an abortion, yet he is still in Congress. I probably need to look that. That might not be his.
Dingle. Jeffries.
Dingle. She said Dingle.
Doggett. Jeffries. Donalds.
That might not have been his scandal.
McCarthy.
But he totally had a scandal. Yep, sex, abortion, and drug scandals. Oh, shit. He told a radio host that God has forgiven me.
McCarthy. Dunn of Florida. McCarthy. Edwards.
Jeffries pretty much is Pelosi 2.0. He's younger, so that's at least a boon for us. But in terms of politics, he has indeed been groomed by the Republican establishment.
McCarthy.
I mean, the Democratic establishment. I'm sorry.
Escobar. Jeffries. Eshue. Jeffries. Espaillat. Jeffries. Estes. McCarthy. Evans. Jeffries. Ezel. McCarthy. Fallon. McCarthy. Feenstra. McCarthy. Ferguson.
Oh, you'll get no argument here that Republicans are far worse than Democrats.
Finstack.
It's like I had somebody come in the other day and try to make an argument about like some left-right alliance or some shit, and I'm like,
McCarthy.
I'm closer in politics to Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden than I am to anybody on the right. So why would I form an alliance with the right?
Fletcher.
It doesn't make any sense.
Jeffries. Flood. McCarthy.
I can't stand Hillary Clinton, but I'm far closer to her politics than I am, you know, a Donald Trump, a Matt Gates,
Jeffries. Fox.
a Bush family.
McCarthy. Lois Frankel. Jeffries.
I think the idea of some kind of right-left alliance is just subterfuge from like right-wingers. Like, please capitulate to us. Why would I do that? Why don't you come over here and capitulate to us for a change? Huh? We've actually got policy you can sign on to.
Jordan.
There is 2 for Jordan, 2 for Hearn.
McCarthy. Gallego.
We know that
Garamendi. Jeffries. Garbarino. McCarthy.
It would be awesome to have a Jeffries win, but that's just that would require the far right flank
Jeffries.
to vote present to lower the threshold, or to vote for Jeffries. And that just ain't gonna happen.
Garcia of Texas.
Jeffries has 69 votes.
Jeffries.
Nice. McCarthy has 69 votes. Nice. KTM, what do you mean by pro-communism? All economies are mixed economies. This idea that there's some fight between communism and socialism and capitalism, this is all bullshit.
New York.
You know, it's to what extent the government has control over this sector, that you allow workers to have control over this sector.
Jeffries.
And you take it on a case-by-case basis.
McCarthy.
Right-wingers, they've been all up in arms about like, oh, it's a government handout to Pfizer and Moderna with the vaccines.
Jeffries.
Cool. Then let's nationalize the pharmaceutical industry.
Jordan. Gooden of Texas. McCarthy.
That takes the profit motive out of it. Warlord says he's seen enough. Now that we are at 5 votes against McCarthy, I'm gonna give it to 6. 6 is what I think crosses the line, but I don't know the totals because I don't know who all is missing today.
McCarthy. Grays of Louisiana.
Nick Fuentes getting nominated would be hilarious, but apparently him and MTG are on the rocks now.
Missouri. McCarthy.
KTM, there's so much to unpack in your statement.
McCarthy.
And that's one of the things that I get on to right wingers about is like you have this very simplistic outlook. You just tried to boil a very complex topic down into like one stupid little sentence.
Jeffries.
Yes, taxes should be fair for all groups. I agree. So let's raise taxes on the rich. I can point to the tax rates in the 50s and 60s of when we saw the most growth
Jeffries.
as a country, and they were high. They were incredibly high on rich people.
McCarthy. Guest.
Because if you're going to tax somebody, you need to tax the people that have the money. That's why you need a progressive tax system. So, doing something like a fair tax isn't fair for everybody, because, fair tax is a marketing ploy that the right has just put on, a flat sales tax is what it actually is.
Harder of California. Jeffries.
Exactly. They boil it down. You have to ask questions like, what do you mean by taxes should be fair? Okay, now that we're at 6, I've seen enough. Kevin McCarthy has lost.
Hayes.
C-SPAN says the same thing. 6 was their magic number. 6, it's the magic number.
McCarthy. Higgins of
McCarthy does not have the votes to become Speaker of the House.
McCarthy. Higgins.
Though it does look like he has flipped a couple of votes.
Hill. McCarthy.
That's exactly right, Sky Comet.
Jeffries.
And one of the reasons why that worked, and I explain it all the fucking time, to avoid taxation, you put that money back into your company. So if you've got a 90% corporate tax rate, you're going to invest money back into your company as opposed to issuing stock dividends and shit that you're going to have to pay taxes on.
Jeffries.
So it actually, that caused more money to go downward towards the workers. Because that's...
Jeffries. Hudson.
What is the purpose of politics right now?
Jeffries. Huizinga.
To me, the purpose of politics is to protect workers, to bolster a middle class, to a rising tide lifts all boats.
Hunt. Isa.
KTM, my friend. Like, that's too...
Jeffries.
I have to explain the whole Ukraine thing again. Like, why do you guys like to jump around so much? Because then, like, I have to ask you if you know about the Caspian Sea. Okay, so the country of Georgia and the country of Ukraine, those are the only two Western-friendly countries around the Caspian Sea that we're able to export natural gas and oil from the Caspian Sea. This is like 25% of the world's oil and natural gas refinement capacity is in Georgia and Ukraine. Georgia has been very unstable for like 20 fucking years now. It may be less than that. Putin has been trying to annex the country of Georgia since right around Obama, Red Line, all that shit.
Jeffries. Jeffries. Jeffries.
Black Sea. Sorry. Thank you, Warlord. The Caspian Sea is the whole Armenian shit, isn't it? Thank you, Warlord. Thank you.
Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries.
So we have a pipeline. Azerbaijan.
McCarthy.
I get foreign affairs is not my thing, right?
McCarthy.
But like I have to learn about it in order to try to explain US politics.
McCarthy. Joyce of Ohio. McCarthy.
Motherfucker, KTM, the US word is our word is worth nothing. And there's a million instances of the U.S. going back on its word. Like, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
Captor.
Jesus.
Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey.
I don't understand your point of view here. I don't think...
Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of
Well, what country's word is word? What, you gonna trust the British Empire? Like they're gonna backstab you too.
Kana.
I mean, I don't understand your critiques you're leveling over here.
McCarthy.
Because you're trying to make it about some kind of partisan issue with Democrats or something.
Kylie. McCarthy. Kilmer.
And I don't get it. I think
California. McCarthy.
Okay,
Kim of New Jersey.
then it hits a lot closer to home to you, KTM.
Krishnamurthy. Jeffries.
Then you should appreciate what is, because I would assume your energy price is being affected by that war.
McCarthy. LaHood.
But I don't understand why you're trying to make an assessment of U.S. politics. Like when I go and watch
La Lota.
Obama didn't start shit in Ukraine in 2014. Like, that was totally Putin.
Lamborn. McCarthy.
How could Obama
Landsman.
cause Putin to want to annex Crimea? That makes no sense.
McCarthy.
KTM, my best advice to you is to not have such strong opinions on U.S. politics, because you don't seem to really understand them.
Jeffries.
You guys have fun with KTM for a second. I'm going to go get another cup of coffee.
McCarthy. Lawler.
The Honorable Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy. Lee of California. Jeffries. Lee of Florida. McCarthy. Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Ledger Fernandez.
Jeffries.
Lesko. McCarthy. Letlow. McCarthy. Levin. Jeffries. Liu. Jeffries. Lofgren. Jeffries. Loudermilk. McCarthy. Lucas.
Fuck the EU.
Lutkemeyer.
KTM, do you know what moving the goalposts is? He's gonna vote for Hearn. Whoa, she flipped. She said she would never vote for Kevin McCarthy.
Luttrell. McCarthy.
So McCarthy has gotten somewhere in negotiations, but it's still not enough to give him the speakership. Wow.
Mace.
So we're going to end up with maybe 10 opposing him still?
Magaziner. Jeffries. Maliotakis. McCarthy.
Because we are about halfway through the alphabet currently.
Mann. McCarthy.
218, but that threshold may have changed. It may be like 216.
Massey. McCarthy. Mast.
Because I believe there are a couple of Republicans missing today.
Jeffries. McBath.
But he does not have the votes to become speaker. This is tense.
McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy votes for himself. He is closer to the speakership than he's ever been now. And this is going to be a miraculous comeback. I thought his political career was over after Tuesday.
McLean. McCarthy. McClintock. McCarthy.
Now, the latest reporting is saying that they probably do not have the votes today to make it happen.
McCormick. McCarthy. McGarvey.
Apparently, there's been clapping heard from McCarthy's office as staffers are still negotiating.
McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. McCarthy. Meeks. Jeffries. Menendez. Jeffries. Meng.
Oh, I agree with that, Nicole.
Jeffries. Muser. McCarthy. Mfume.
It would be nice if we could just dissolve Congress and have all new elections.
Illinois.
Nobody that's ever served before gets to serve again. Apparently she is a flip. There is a lot of ego with Kevin McCarthy, I assume.
Miller of Ohio.
As I pointed out many times yesterday, I couldn't sit right fucking there
West Virginia.
and be that embarrassed all fucking day.
Miller Meeks.
That is your Republican leadership, Elise Stefanik right there,
McCarthy.
Steve Scalise,
Mills.
Elise the whip,
McCarthy.
Stefanik the caucus chair.
Molinaro. McCarthy. Molinar. McCarthy. Mooney. McCarthy.
Elise possibly next in line
Moore of Alabama. McCarthy.
if McCarthy withdraws his nomination. But
McCarthy.
apparently he gonna keep trying.
Moore of Wisconsin. Jeffries. Moran. McCarthy.
Welcome in to a bunch of people who just hopped in here. Ray, good afternoon.
Jeffries.
You're on the 12th vote for the Speaker of the House. McCarthy has lost yet again, but he has flipped votes.
Jeffries.
And he is close. He's a lot he is a lot closer than he has been this entire time.
Murphy.
Grumpy Jones, good afternoon.
McCarthy.
I don't see how this is I don't see how this produces a better result.
Jeffries. Neal.
No matter who ends up being Speaker of the House for the Republicans, the
Nagoose.
agenda will be the same.
Jeffries.
I don't know. I have no experience with him, Tadpole.
McCarthy. Newhouse. McCarthy. Nickel. Jeffries.
Also, I don't know if I told you good afternoon, but good afternoon, Tadpole.
Jeffries. Norman.
I'm assuming that is another flip.
None of
Still, once again, not enough to secure the speakership for Kevin McCarthy.
Obernolte. McCarthy. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles.
So we're going to get up the Democrats are going to have 212. McCarthy should have around
Jeffries.
210 now?
Owens.
Possibly.
Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. McCarthy.
Apparently, it's all about committee positions, and there are people, they want equal representation, is what they're calling it. They want the Freedom Cock to have equal representation within the committees.
Pascrell.
Which, by equal representation, they mean over-representation.
Payne. Payne. Pelosi. Jeffries. Pelton.
What up, Nancy? Still wish you'd go home. Why don't you retire?
Pence. McCarthy.
Go enjoy your millions of dollars.
Jeffries.
Leave us the fuck alone.
Perry. McCarthy.
Perry, indeed a flip. This is getting interesting.
Peters. Jeffries. Pedersen. Jeffries.
Yeah, Dustin, this is just a power play from people like Matt Gaetz, it seems.
Phillips.
This is just some individual person at Lauren Boebert
Pingree. Jeffries.
trying to assert themselves.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see what the final list is.
Porter. Jeffries. Posey. McCarthy.
It is clear to me, and I thought of this last night. I'm going to need a Freedom Cock drop, aren't I? Maybe with Boebert holding a red, white, and blue dildo, something to that effect.
Ramirez.
Jeffries. Raskin.
Do I still have my thumbnail from the TikTok I made of that? The Freedom Cock.
Rogers of Washington. McCarthy. Rogers of Alabama. McCarthy. McCarthy. Rogers of Kentucky. Rogers of Kentucky.
Well, I'm amazed he's still alive. He's so fucking old. The Freedom Cock. The Freedom Cock.
Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy.
No, it's alphabetical order.
Rosendale.
Kevin.
We're in the R's.
Hearn.
Whoa! He pulled the fake out move.
Ross. Jeffries. Rouser. McCarthy.
Maybe it was by first name.
Roy.
Kevin McCarthy.
Chip Roy flipping. Now, this is fucking interesting.
Ruiz. Jeffries.
I find it annoying, but it's just politics.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Jeffries. Rutherford.
Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy. Ryan. Jeffries. Salazar. Salazar. Salinas. Jeffries.
Rocky, good afternoon. Welcome back.
Sanchez.
I mean, I do wish we were a lot more like the UK and they did like rap battles.
McCarthy.
That would be a lot more fun.
Sarbanes.
Boo, boo, Seth Rollins.
Scalise. McCarthy. Scanlon.
Poor Steve Scalise. He only got a smattering of applause.
Schakowsky. Jeffries. Schiff. Jeffries.
Adam Schiff.
Schneider. Jeffries. Skolton. Jeffries.
Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney would be an excellent Speaker of the House.
Schweikert. McCarthy.
McCarthy now has 169 votes. Nice.
David Scott. Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries.
John Andrew, welcome. We are covering the going-ons on the House floor. We've apparently had another flip. This was one of the never Kevins that have flipped and has now voted for Kevin McCarthy. I'm assuming each time that they applaud, that's the reason why. I couldn't find a total number on that. I was trying to look at some live political blogs, but it looks like about 10 have flipped.
Sherman.
But once again, Kevin McCarthy is not going to win this vote.
Cheryl. Jeffries.
Those are people that Kevin McCarthy has made a deal with. This is the closest McCarthy has come to securing the votes for Speaker, but he is still going to fall short. And it looks like he's only going to fall short by 1 or 2 votes.
Smith of Nebraska. McCarthy. Smith of New Jersey. McCarthy. Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker.
With a name like Smucker. And he votes for McCarthy. You know it's got to be bullshit.
Soto. Jeffries. Spanberger.
Around 10.
Jeffries.
Around 10 have flipped now.
McCarthy.
That looks to be another flip.
Stansbury. Jeffries.
To what a position we're in right now. Like, he's going to fall 1 or 2 votes short.
Jeffries.
Is he going to be able to finagle the votes in the next round?
Steele. McCarthy. Stefanik. McCarthy.
I just barely got my mic muted before I sneezed incredibly loud.
Stubbe. McCarthy.
Very loudly.
Stevens. Jeffries. Stewart. McCarthy. Strickland. Jeffries. Strong. McCarthy. Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Tucano. Jeffries. Tenney. McCarthy. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California. Jeffries.
For those of you who may just be joining us, there are no rules. The 118th Congress has not been sworn in.
Pennsylvania. McCarthy.
The clerk's office actually has the power right now. You are seeing a representative of the clerk's office read the roll. They're the ones in charge until they elect a House Speaker and the rules are settled upon.
Jeffries. Takuda. Jeffries. Taco. Jeffries. Torres of California. Jeffries. Torres of New York. Jeffries. Trahan. Jeffries. Trone. Trone.
Where you at, Trone?
Turner.
We're coming up on the end of the vote here.
Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo. McCarthy. Van Drew.
Mr. Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy. Van Dyne. McCarthy.
There's about 25, 30 more votes.
Van Orden. McCarthy. Vargas. Jeffries.
But Kevin McCarthy is going to lose yet again, though this is the closest it's been.
VC. Jeffries. Velasquez. Jeffries. Wagner. McCarthy. Wahlberg. McCarthy.
Is that Marky Mark or is that Donnie?
McCarthy. Wasserman Schultz.
Back when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark.
Jeffries.
This is how we used to get the party started.
Jeffries.
Mix in the Bacardi Dark.
Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas. McCarthy. Webster of Florida.
Nobody popped for my Eminem lyrics? Come on. Or am I just getting old now? Is that song a classic? And the kids don't know. The kids don't know what I was singing.
McCarthy. Wexton.
They play that on the classic stations now. It's on the oldies.
Williams of Georgia. Jeffries. Williams of New York. McCarthy. Williams of Texas.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sky Comet would tell you that liberals are chuds.
Wilson of Florida.
But I don't want to speak for her. No, it is not. McCarthy is lost.
Wilson of South Carolina. McCarthy.
Buy a Bible.
McCarthy. Womack. McCarthy. Yacom. McCarthy. Zinke. McCarthy.
When I was fixing up my coffee,
The reading clerk clerk will
I
now
saw my leftover barbecue, and I'm like,
members-elect
this is gonna be so
who
good.
did not answer the first call of the roll.
This is the people that missed roll call. We've seen somebody be live on Fox News and then come in and vote. There are several missing. There are at least 10 that have not voted.
Buck.
My name is Buck, and I like to fuck.
Burchett.
Madam Clerk, based on the fact no one cheers when I speak, and I've never been asked to give a nomination speech, but I'm not bitter about it. Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, were we supposed to have manners?
Kassar. Jeffries.
That's what people try to like tone police me and shit. Like, oh, well, you're not real news. Like, I do a show with a fucking troll head.
Diaz-Balart. McCarthy.
Well, this bearded Justin Trudeau over there, what the fuck is going on?
Goldman of New York. Jeffries.
Actually, maybe he looks like the dude from Legal Eagle.
McCarthy.
Name calling is what we do around here. Right wingers are fucking morons.
Hunt. Hunt.
That's a good question.
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
Yes, Austin. Pretty much all day, every day.
Jeffries.
McCarthy hits 212.
On behalf of my colleagues that have been negotiating in good faith,
This is another flip.
McCarthy.
This is the first time that McCarthy will get the most votes.
Payne.
Grumpy, I don't give a shit what you think about whether trolling is good or not. I've told my origin story many a time that when I was in college, I got a dual degree in philosophy and communications. This was around the 2013-2014 time. I decided that I was going to be above the fray on the internet, and I was always going to make logical arguments, and I was going to try to win people over. We get into like 2015, 2016, and I'm just like, there's no use in doing this. I'm just going to start calling people dumb fucks and morons. Because there's like, you can't ration with people who didn't come to their positions rationally.
If there are any members-elect who did not answer the call of the roll, they may come to the well and vote at this time.
Yeah, we're still missing a couple. Or maybe there's a Democrat out right now. So, I mean, like, what can I do? Like, if somebody believes that Democrats eat babies for their adrenochrome, well, I can't reason with that person. I can just call them a fucking idiot. And if you mock people with stupid beliefs like that, then other people will see like, oh, I don't want to get mocked. I can feel embarrassment. Ah, fucking fuck. Alright, well, here's the deal. I gotta go take a tinkle. So, I'm gonna take a tinkle while they're, like, rounding up the last couple of votes here. When I come back, I will start the no profanity. I guess I'll go refill my coffee too while I'm at it.
After the 12th round of voting for House Speaker, the unofficial tally, Kevin McCarthy with 214 votes, Hakeem Jeffries with 211, 7 Republicans choosing not to vote for Kevin McCarthy, a very distinct shift from the 11th vote where it ended last night. This is Sarah Ferris from her tweet, Capitol Hill reporter, saying it's the first concrete sign of movement for McCarthy in days. This has been the McCarthy team's biggest goal, any kind of momentum to prevent further bleeding of Republican sources, saying that they still believe it's impossible to get all the votes today. They would still need several more, quote, never Kevin votes. Remember, the magic number is 218. A reminder, yesterday, this is where things stood. Kevin McCarthy with 200 votes. He picked up 14 votes in that 12th round of voting. Here's who he picked up. Dan Bishop of North Carolina, Josh Breachin of Oklahoma, Michael Cloud of Texas, Andrew Clyde of Georgia, Byron Donalds of Florida, Anna Paulina Luna of Florida, Mary Miller of Illinois, Ralph Norman of South Carolina, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Chip Roy of Texas, Keith Self of Texas, Paul Gosar of Arizona, Andy Ogles of Tennessee, and Victoria Sparks of Indiana shifted her vote from present in the last round of voting to a vote actively for Kevin McCarthy. That's the 14 votes that Kevin McCarthy picked up since the 11th round. 7 Republicans still holding out against Kevin McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy can only lose 4 and still become Speaker of the House. Andy Biggs of Arizona continuing to vote against Kevin McCarthy. Lauren Boebert of Colorado also voting for another candidate. Eli Crane of Arizona joining Lauren Boebert in voting for Kevin Hearn. Matt Gaetz of Florida voting for Jim Jordan. Bob Good of Virginia voting for Jim Jordan. Andy Harris of Maryland voting for Jim Jordan. Matt Rosendale of Montana voting for Kevin Hearn. A couple of the members who shifted their vote in that round of voting tweeting out statements. Here's 2 of them. Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, who came over to the McCarthy side in that round.
Give you that eye, pussy, sir.
Twitter, we're at a turning point. I've negotiated in good faith with one purpose, to restore the People's House back to its rightful owners. The framework for an agreement is in place. So in good faith, I voted to restore the People's House by voting for GOP leader McCarthy. And this via Olivia Beavers of Politico.
Beavers.
Keith Self's statement, Keith Self of Texas. This is part of
you live
what
in
the
sexual
Congressman-elect
anarchy.
had to say. My vote today was to show support for significant rule changes to transform the House from being dysfunctional to functional. I believe we are on the precipice of transferring significant power from leadership to individual members and the American people. It has become clear.
The reason Kevin does not give up is because his donors want him to be
simply obstructionists,
the Speaker of the House.
Self-promotion than restoring the Republic. I ran for Congress to be a voice and a vote for the people of the 3rd Congressional District of Texas. I appreciate
the people who pay the bills for these motherfuckers want Kevin McCarthy to be the Speaker of the House.
As I continue to negotiate in good faith on your behalf. Sahil Kapoor of NBC News taking us inside the talks via his Twitter feed. The Freedom Caucus wants 3 seats on the Rules Committee, which controls...
He's almost there. He's just got to flip a couple more. This is the closest he's been yet.
Picking one, and they present a list, and he picks 2 more from that list. That's according to lawmakers talking to Sahil.
So, like, this is the most confidence I've had that he will be Speaker of the House so far.
Tally again.
I'm amazed at what just happened.
214 now. Hakeem Jeffries at 211. 7 Republicans still voting for another candidate besides Kevin McCarthy. Live coverage of the House floor here on C-SPAN.
The insider political wonks this morning said a deal would not happen today. But like, this was closer than I thought they would be. I think somebody's missing from the floor. Lord Locke. I don't think they voted for McCarthy or anything. I thought it was 2 Republicans are out today, but maybe it's 1 on each side, so it probably didn't change the numbers. I mean, like, Trump is not going to be Speaker of the House. When they floated that idea, Trump said he didn't want it. Of course, Trump would look at it as below him. It's president or nothing. Trump would look at, like, serving as Speaker of the House, even though it might be a good strategic move for Republicans. Trump would see it as below him and totally wouldn't do it. Dustin, good afternoon. Oh, fucking shit. Yeah, the curse clock. God damn you all. Who do I have to thank for that? Tadpole. Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz sitting together. Few Republicans I like. Presently, like when we're talking like currently serving Republicans, Jesus. That's a wild question. Joe Biden? Yeah, no, I can barely stand people in the party that represent me that have views that are similar to Republicans. So what after the Republican Party has done its best to purge anyone of any dissent from the party, why would I ever like anyone? Strom Thurmond being dead, that's a good thing to like. I like John McCain because he's dead. I can go back to my time when I was doing news and can tell you Republicans I liked that I knew. And at the time, I really liked the Secretary of State, Trey Grayson, in Kentucky. Super cool guy. The Secretary of State's job is to oversee elections. And that motherfucker was out to expand voting in Kentucky. And this is about 2006, 2007 time. And I really admired him. He is no longer serving. He lost in the Senate primary a few years back. So I don't know if maybe he's in a local office somewhere, but he's not in any. I thought he would have been a good candidate for Senate, and he lost. He lost to nut jobs. Or maybe he lost. Yeah, it would have been in the Rand Paul. They were cray-cray in the mid-2000s. This Republican Party, you could see this coming a mile away, right? So, I've pointed out Frank Zappa wrote a song about Republicans and the evangelical takeover of the Republican Party back in 1986. He saw it. Or it might have been 88. But he saw it coming. Did I say motherfucker? God damn it. I'm not high enough for this bullpucky. So naming a Republican now that I like is going to be hard just because Vince, oh my God, I can't believe Somebody mentioned it in the chat last night during the stream that, you know, Vince McMahon was making a power play to take back over the WWE, and I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen. It was you, Lord Locke. It happened. It happened.
Picking up a significant number of votes in that round, a 14-vote shift.
Vince McMahon with the hostile takeover of his own company.
The magic number today is 217. That's how many votes Kevin McCarthy would need to get the speakership.
So yeah, I guess they're missing one on each side. It brings the number down to 217.
Half of that plus one gets to 217, and it has to be the majority of those voting for an official candidate, and every member who voted for a candidate.
Devil, no, but we're closer than I thought we would be. McCarthy flipped about 10, 11 votes.
From not McCarthy to McCarthy, still 7 holdouts. The math then is that Kevin McCarthy would need to pick off 3 of those holdouts to achieve the speakership. We're showing you live shots.
It was 218, but there are 2 members of the House missing today.
The clerk, live coverage.
And that lowers the threshold. Guys, so I'm at a crossroads here. I would make a lot more money on YouTube because I don't make very much money on YouTube at all. I would make a lot more money on YouTube if there was not profanity in my videos. But not enough money to where it is cost effective for me to actually go through and bleep myself out. So I have been looking around for a software that would do it for me, and there is nothing. There is nothing. Like, I could write my own code in Python, and I may never forget the door, Curiouser. Oh no. Like, this is me. I've just accepted that all my videos are going to get restricted. But it's nerfing my growth, it's nerfing my money. Being capitalist about this. However, it is not, because every time that I've done this and gone through and censored myself, it's still gotten demonetized. There is a software that allows you install it on your computer, and it allows you to watch YouTube, and it bleeps out the curses. I'm looking for something that will allow me to. I'm not actually using a bleep. I'm using a it's like a. And then I've got it set up and everything. Like a troll head appears over my mouth. It's really funny. So I wanted to be, humorous with it. Here you see the Democrats huddling, those Democratic leadership, minus Hakeem Jeffries. Well, I'm going to try to do it in a way that I have a little fun with it, but a lot of the times the topics I'm talking about are going to trigger the demonetization. It nerfs my views. So it is an issue. However, it's just not cost effective. It's not time cost effective. What's the opportunity cost? For me to spend an extra half hour or 45 minutes to bleep out profanity in a video and then it still get demonetized once I upload it. But if I can run it through some sort of program that puts a marker at the because it has to exist. Because I can put profanity filters on the captions in OBS. So the technology is there to automatically detect my profanity. Now there is a way that I can run it through Adobe Audition, and I can record myself saying every different curse word. And then a filter automatically detects that. And I'm looking into possibly doing that. So it would take like an afternoon worth of work to train it. Oh God, where I sneezed all over my chair, and I just like put my hand inside. I mean, it would be good incentive for me to, you know, sell other versions of the show. You can listen to it here, uncensored, blah, 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 kind of deal. But for the clips I put on YouTube, which are promotion for the show, right? So, like, the little smaller clips on YouTube, those are to try to get people to watch the longer version show. Or also for you, if you missed the show and you're a regular viewer, you can catch up. You don't have to go back and watch the whole show if you don't want to. You know, if I've been gone somewhere and on vacation or something, and I come back and I've missed a week of Majority Report, I'm just probably going to watch the clips as opposed to watching the whole show. Once again, these fantastic shots that we're getting from C-SPAN because there are no rules in Congress yet.
Vote count, some history via Greg Giroux of Bloomberg, noting that this is likely to go to a 13th round of voting, with Kevin McCarthy falling short of the 217 votes that he needed in that round.
But can he flip 3 more?
History required more than 12 rounds of voting. Live coverage as we await the official tally from the clerk here on C-SPAN.
Don Andrew, thank you for the sub. Guy Comet for the gift sub. You are awesome. I appreciate all of the support from the community. I am more on the side of it happening today after that last vote, Rocky. One of the rules that apparently McCarthy has agreed to is that they can recall the speaker at pretty much any time. And I can't say that that wouldn't be fun for us as a political audience over the next 2 years during the duration of the Republicans being in control of the House. I'm here for it. That would be like a vote of no confidence in the UK. Also, Rishi Sunak apparently going to be able to weather the storm. I didn't know that he was going to be able to survive as a prime minister, but so far so good. We'll see if things heat back up. Oh, about the filming of Congress, yeah. Well, so the party in charge actually gets to dictate to C-SPAN what they can show and what they can't show, and they usually bar them from showing these candid shots in the chamber like we're seeing right now. Professor Q, they have not elected a speaker. Kevin McCarthy has failed again, but this is the closest he has come. He has flipped like 11 or 12 votes. So he is only a couple, 3 shy of being able to assume the speakership. I didn't think it was going to happen today originally, but like it's possible now. We've got Matt Gaetz talking to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Apparently they are friends because they're both from Florida. We've seen them conference a couple of different times. They do both suck, indeed. Boom! Fuck, fuckity, fuck, 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 goddamn motherfuckers! I outlasted your 10 minutes. Have I ever done it in one go? Pat Gates has friends. Apparently he's got a couple that haven't turned on him. This isn't actually a break. This is not a break. We are awaiting the official tally. The clerk's office is doing the official tally of the vote. They will announce the official tally, and then we will get either a vote to adjourn, or they will pick right back up and they will nominate Kevin McCarthy again. I did it in 2, but have I ever made it in 1? Also, welcome in Chainsaw. Good afternoon, my friend. Chainsaw, the special guest co-host tonight on the Friday Night Freak Show. I am sorry there is not artwork of Chainsaw for me to show you. I've not had a chance, thanks to covering this. Am I on the clock? No, I'm not on the clock. Thanks to covering this shit. What was I thinking? I'm not on the clock. So, just pretend this is new artwork and that Chainsaw's picture is there. And that it's not Christmas themed. I will indeed have artwork ready before the show. I believe so. I believe everyone has voted other than the missing 2. Or the straggler or 2 that are left has the chance to come up to the well and vote right now. There is Jim Jordan of Ohio, who helped cover up sexual assault at Ohio State University. And we're not going to take the chance to point that out. Sassy Snicks, good afternoon. If I hit this bong, if I haven't, I need to. Okay, so this is the closest Jim Jordan has come. Yes, I will recap for you. The 12th vote for Speaker just ended. I said Jim Jordan. Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy came the closest he has come to assuming the Speaker of the House. He had 213, 214. Hakeem Jeffries had 211. I believe there is one missing on each side. There were 7 votes against Kevin McCarthy. 2 or 3 shot. He needs 217 today because 2 people are missing. The threshold is now 217. So it needs another 4 votes. Needs to pick up another 4 votes. Or have 4 people vote present. You get a smoky. And he was very asleep. God, he's falling back asleep in my arms right now, I can tell.
As we await the official tally from the clerk, the unofficial numbers, Kevin McCarthy picking up 14 Republican votes in that 12th round of voting. Does not have the votes yet needed, the 217 votes needed to be Speaker, but significant.
Last night was one of those rare nights.
In that round of voting. Frank Thorpe of NBC News.
One of those rare nights I had both cats. I had both Smokey and Socks. It's usually one or the other.
Members going in and out of the chamber and reporters catching them as they go. Steve Scalise, who would be the majority leader if Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker, quoted as saying, obviously there was progress, a lot of progress has been made and talks are continuing. With the question from reporters whether Kevin McCarthy will clinch the vote today, Scalise replying, there's some members that are out that are going to be coming back, so we're going to need to keep working. Reports of at least 2 Republicans out, 2 Republicans who had supported Kevin McCarthy, Ken Buck of Colorado, Wesley Hunt of Texas. That's the latest in the scrums that are happening off the House floor. What you're
Maynard is always driving me nuts. He took a shower with me earlier.
C-SPAN camera folks who are in charge of the
That's wild to say my cat gets in the shower with me, but he does.
Floor are courtesy of C-SPAN being in control of the chamber. With no speaker yet, the C-SPAN operators are in charge of the cameras, and
He's such a he looks like a judgy cat.
Some members.
Oh, is she waving at the camera? Is she waving at C-SPAN?
Cameras, and these gaggles happening. Matt Gaetz there chatting, and the Democratic side of the aisle as well. Throughout this process, C-SPAN
to Goose.
the cameras, not the case usually when the House is in session and the House Radio TV gallery.
We're not up against the government shutdown just yet.
As has been happening all week, we've been able to bring you all these angles and bring you this.
Dustin Choi.
Here.
Good afternoon, my friend. I think I fucked your name up. I probably did. When did they kick the can down the road, too, on the debt ceiling? You can look that up. It's only a couple of weeks. It could possibly. Oh, it's mid 2023. Okay, they've kicked it to like June. That was one of the things that the Never Kevin caucus was upset about, was the spending bill kicked the debt ceiling down the road. Republicans have to deal with that shit now. Aren't they cool motherfuckers? There shouldn't be a debt ceiling. There was talk of the Democrats possibly doing away with it during the lame duck session. They did not. Thanks, Democrats. And then again, it's gonna be fun to see the Republicans fight over it. But also, not so much fun if the government shuts down and people see real pain from it. Because the people who lose out when the government shuts down are the people who are on the getting a paycheck from the federal government. People that work at parks and shit. Those are the people who are truly hurt by a government shutdown. Skiddadeer. Did I say it right that time after saying it wrong for so long? How long have I known you? A year or more. And I've been saying it wrong all this time.
As we wait to see whether there
every night I'm like, let's go raid squid.
Speaker, some news on what might happen if there is. Olivia Beavers of Politico reporting via Twitter that it would be James Comer of Kentucky who would nominate Kevin McCarthy as Speaker in the next round. James Comer, who is set to be the chairman of the Oversight Committee, the lead investigative committee on Capitol Hill. Again, we'll see if...
Man, she's gangsta over here, isn't she?
The 12th round.
I think she's actually the clerk, the House clerk, or whatever the
14 votes
lead clerk position is.
We're waiting, though, for the official
Cindy something or other.
You're watching live coverage on C-SPAN.
But she had some bling bling on. Who's this bow-tied motherfucker over here talking to Matt Gaetz? Kind of into the look, to be honest with you. That shirt's cool. Roger Ebert. I'm actually amazed that Kevin McCarthy is sitting there right now. I thought he would be wherever the negotiations are taking place, in the office he's squatting in, apparently. We're still awaiting the final vote tally of the 12th vote. Be as hard on the Q as you like. Believe me, I'm going to go hard on the Q when I go eat my leftover barbecue. Ha ha ha. When we took a break yesterday and I had to go get my driver's license, we stopped and got barbecue. Holy fuck, was it good. I didn't even touch my beans yet. They were in a separate container. I was just like, I'll put those for later. That's a later snack. Oh, devil. I've got to disagree with you on that. Barry Moore popped up on screen right after you said that. That is Barry Moore of Alabama. You want to talk about an incompetent buffoon? Holy shit, Barry Moore. There are at least 20 congressmen in the running for most incompetent buffoon in Congress. And Barry is in the running, I assure you. I don't know. Kevin McCarthy must not have the capacity to feel embarrassment, though. That's for sure.
The clerk expected to make the final tally official momentarily. Of note.
Here we go. We're getting ready for the final tally. We'll move into the 13th vote.
Maryland has returned to the
fight?
House. He missed that 12th ballot for Speaker, and Democrats saying this will bring the number needed to win up by 1 for Kevin McCarthy. The number needed to win officially 217 at this point. We'll see if David Trone does in fact vote in the next round, or if there is in fact a 13th round of voting. It all will happen after the House clerk makes the 12th round tally official, and we'll see what Republicans decide to do. There could be a motion for adjournment. There could be a push for a 13th round. Live coverage on C-SPAN.
If you're Kevin McCarthy at this point and you only need 3 more flips, do you keep working on it? Are you working on it right now? Kevin McCarthy looks confident. He is still in a seated position right here. It looks like the rest of Republican leadership is over here, so I don't know who is whipping votes for him currently. CNN reporting that there is indeed a meeting ongoing. I'll give this dude props on a nice beard. I'm surprised these old fucks and these religious fucks aren't like very superstitious about it and making it like a hotel. Like, no, we don't want a 13th vote. This is going to be the 14th vote. How in hotels there's no 13th floor. It just goes from 12 to 14. Top men on the case. Top men.
You live in sexual anarchy.
I mean, Kevin McCarthy's been getting bottomed all over the House floor.
The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 431, of which the Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 213.
I've never seen Indiana Jones. I know. You were a film student and you've never seen Indiana Jones? Used to be you've never seen Star Wars?
The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 211.
The reporting this morning was that they were not close on a deal. However, I am surprised by the voting. McCarthy flipped 14.
The state of Ohio has received 4.
He's a hell of a lot closer to the speakership than he was in the last 3 days.
Oklahoma has received 3.
Yes, they do it every time.
No member-elect having received a majority of the votes cast, the Speaker has not been elected. For what purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky rise?
I rise on behalf of the Republican Party to nominate Kevin McCarthy for Speaker.
Here we go, number 13.
The gentleman is recognized.
Sherry, good afternoon.
One-party Democrat rule has resulted in multiple crises that are harming Americans without any oversight or accountability from this body. Americans are facing historic inflation, skyrocketing energy costs, the worst border crisis in American history, and surging fentanyl overdoses. One of the reasons is there's been no congressional oversight. There's no sense of urgency from this
You're repeating yourself, sir.
or the bureaucrats that populate this town to move. Now, I want to talk about that. Oversight of our tax dollars. That's our responsibility. We've all heard reports of hundreds of millions of dollars of potential waste and fraud in the unemployment insurance programs in all 50 states. We've all heard reports of misuse of...
Let's talk about the welfare programs that Brett Favre was taking advantage of
PPP loan funds. But yet, there has not been a single hearing in the House Oversight Committee about...
they'll adjourn by like 4 or 5. We're doing a show tonight, Chainsaw. You're not getting out of
We've
this.
made several trips on this side of the aisle to the border. We've listened to the Border Patrol agents.
Also, we come on at 10 p.m. Eastern. I did tell you that, right?
Biden,
it is not normal troll time.
has become the welcoming
Regular John.
begging
Good
for
afternoon, my friend.
Law enforcement...
We've got irregular John in here already.
...are begging Congress to force this administration to secure the border, to do something about the fentanyl crisis that plagues every community in every state in our great nation.
I mean, regular John, your question doesn't apply to me. Like,
Americans,
I got no skin in this game. This is the Republicans.
In Afghanistan. And Americans were...
This has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with the Democratic caucus. Like they got to get their house in order.
For the Taliban. How many Americans were left behind? The origination of COVID-19.
You tell me to shut up?
We all know someone personally who lost their life during COVID-19. They deserve answers.
Yeah.
To what really happened in that lab in Wuhan.
There was a pandemic, dude. There was a pandemic, and Republican voters were more likely to die from it. That's what happened.
Have lost a year of their education because of the forced virtual learning that so many of our...
This is wrong. This is wrong.
...children through during the COVID pandemic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about suicide statistics.
Ran the debt up. At least
this is a different talking point. The suicides, because they've talked about like suicides went up because of the lockdowns. That's not true. Suicides went up after the lockdowns ended.
In the Oversight Committee to deal with potential waste, fraud, or abuse of the COVID funds. Not a single hearing. And we all know.
And it was all Republicans doing the waste, fraud, and abuse of COVID funds that we've found out thus far.
We're sent through EcoHealth Alliance to the Wuhan lab in China for gain-of-function research.
Wuhan, I got you all in check.
Has it come before Congress in the House of Representatives? The American people...
Oh, that's another one of those jokes that's going to go over a young person's head, isn't it?
Speaker Kevin McCarthy has given the Republican majority the tools necessary to make that possible.
Yeah, I'm quoting a Busta Rhymes song from, what, 25 fucking years ago?
The Democrats...
Longer. It's 2023.
A president for potential wrongdoing in Ukraine and Russia. Now, let me say this loud and clear. The Republicans will also investigate
yeah, he's pissing me off too.
For potential wrongdoing in Ukraine and Russia, as well as China.
And you'd rather be pissed off than pissed on, ain't that right, Dan Crenshaw? Ah ha ha! I'd give anything to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole.
Merrick Garland, Secretary Mayorkas. We can't have those questions. We can't ask those questions until we get organized and elect our speaker.
Hey, Rocky, like that's the reason why I'm here to make jokey jokes for you. You can watch and keep informed on what's going on the floor of the House.
The previous president
and not be bored to tears by this old crusty fuck.
Social issues, which the Oversight Committee had absolutely no jurisdiction, and a committee totally uninterested in the American taxpayer. In a Republican majority, under Speaker Kevin McCarthy and many of my friends embedded in these negotiations, the House
Speaker Kevin McCarthy,
with strong members like Byron Donalds and Andy Biggs and Jim Jordan.
Speaking of jokes, everybody, Steelers have 6.
Fraud, abuse, and mismanagement in the federal government and holding unelected bureaucrats accountable. In a Republican majority, under Speaker Kevin McCarthy,
he's kicking authority in the balls.
Men and women's voices will finally be heard and represented. And in a Republican majority under Speaker Kevin McCarthy, this broken Congress will finally be fixed and we will return to regular order.
Buddy, I had a banger of a Busta Rhymes joke right before you got here.
Every step of the way. We will return to regular order. We will get the backs of the American taxpayers. This is the people's house. Let's get to work. Madam Clerk, I'm proud to nominate Kevin McCarthy to be the next Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. And
everybody laugh at the old man. Dude's probably like 35. Hate just ages you. I'm older than that fuck. I'm calling him an old man.
Woman from Texas rise.
Madam Clerk, I rise to nominate a great leader, a unifier, not a divider, Hakeem Jeffries, for Speaker of the United States House of Representatives.
This woman told me she would pray for me. I told her if she was going to murmur my name to herself under her breath, she should at least do it while she's masturbating. That way one of us gets something out of it.
We are on day 4, the 13th vote, and House Democrats continue to stand united with Hakeem Jeffries, with him and for him, because he is a uniter, not a divider, and a positive force of nature.
I haven't heard that line in a while. That was George W. Bush's campaign slogan in 2000.
Claimed this process should...
Representative Veronica Escobar from Texas.
Madam Clerk, their process didn't...
Motherfucker saying I don't have jokes. Asked me to tell him a joke, and he's like, oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Americans have profound concerns about what this portends. As we gather here in this chamber on this solemn day, the second anniversary of January 6th, when members of law enforcement were under siege, when there was an attempted coup.
By the way, on this anniversary, families of officers that died filing suit.
And on our democracy from within. On that day, when my colleagues and I were trapped in this gallery, The terrorists who assaulted our police officers could be heard banging on these doors
against Trump,
breaking these windows.
Trump sued by partner Capitol police officer who died after January 6th attack.
Free and fair election. I shudder to think what a Republican majority's inability to govern would have meant on that day, and what it could mean in the future for those of us who believe in defending our democracy abroad and now more than ever here at home. On this painful anniversary, thankfully, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries made sure that we came together to mark the moment, to honor our law enforcement, recognize the lives lost as a result of that day, honor the families.
I mean, that is like the one thing that came from January 6th is we got a couple more good cops.
Our republic and our democracy.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary folk in the audience, there's only one good kind of cop.
We are now 4 days into what should be the 118th Congress, and the House of Representatives has no committees, no rules, no classified briefings, no members who have taken their oaths to serve our country. There are no debates happening on this floor about addressing the challenges we face at home or around the globe. No votes on legislation to tackle the challenges facing the American people. Madam Clerk, they told the American people they wanted to win the
Guy comment, are you dropping a parable in the chat?
Is each other. These four
is this something Jesus said?
Republicans' ability to govern, and they have failed. With Hakeem Jeffries as our Speaker, Congress can continue to deliver common sense, bipartisan solutions for the American people.
Or is that something that like Herschel Walker said on the campaign?
Before our very
and they had that bull over there on the other side.
Over the next 2 years under Republican control. And this should be deeply concerning to the American people who expect us to do our jobs and fulfill even the most fundamental functions of this institution. Like voting on the debt ceiling to fund expenditures we've already made. What if this happens
I'll agree with Rocky. I'm not high enough for this shit.
On our debts because of the Republican majority's inability to govern? What impact will that have on our economy or on the global economy? And in less than 9 months, in September, we have a vote to fund the government, to pay for our military, Social Security, Medicare, and other obligations.
You said September. I thought it was June.
30th, when
I had to just look that up.
Runs out and they're in charge. With Hakeem Jeffries as our Speaker, we can continue to advance an agenda that puts people over politics, just as we did in the 117th Congress with a majority as slim as theirs. Es un gran honor. Madam Clerk, as co-chair of the House Democratic Policy and Communications Committee, and in accordance with the
That was funny. They got a chuckle out of me.
I'm honored to present for election to the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 118th Congress the name of a man of integrity and intellect who is bold and brilliant.
You got two of the three eyes. Does he have intensity? That's what intensity and integrity and intelligence. That's the three eyes.
From the state of New York.
He doesn't look like he's got the intensity. I don't think he's up for the job. Kurt Angle would not approve.
The reading clerk will call the roll.
Here we go again. Has Kevin McCarthy been able to flip 3 congresspeople?
Adams. Jeffries. Adderholt.
Holt.
Oh, they didn't nominate a third person.
Aguilar.
You're right.
Jeffries.
Interesting.
All
That doesn't mean that they can't vote for somebody.
McCarthy. Allen. McCarthy. Allred. Jeffries. Emiday.
They can vote for whoever the fuck they want.
Armstrong.
As we saw the other day where Matt Gaetz was just like, Donald Trump.
Arrington.
This is a sign that a deal has been reached.
Jeffries. Babin.
Bell's BBQ. I was just talking about barbecue a little bit ago.
McCarthy.
There was 7 votes last time, yeah.
McCarthy.
He needs to flip 4 of them.
Balderson.
Let me see if I can get you a list of the people who vote against him.
Jeffries. Banks. McCarthy. Barr. McCarthy. Barragan. Jeffries. Bean of Florida. McCarthy. Beatty. Jeffries. Bentz. McCarthy. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. McCarthy.
This is the 13th vote for Speaker.
Byer. Jeffries. Bice.
I'm trying to get you a list of who...
Biggs. Jordan. Villarapas. McCarthy.
I can give you a list of everybody who flipped.
Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina.
Where'd it go?
McCarthy. Blumenauer. Jeffries.
Dan Bishop, Joshua Breachin, Mike Cloud, Andrew Clyde, Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds was one of them that they nominated yesterday. Anna Paulina Luna.
Jordan.
Who I thought was a surprising one. Boebert. The second vote for someone else. Mary Miller flipped. She was the one that voted present yesterday, and she flipped back to McCarthy. Ralph Norman, Scott Perry, Chip Roy, Keith Self, and Paul Gosar.
Jeffries.
Switched from McCarthy.
Pennsylvania.
Switched to McCarthy.
Burkeen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Victoria Spartz was the one that voted present.
Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. McCarthy. Buck.
My name is Buck, and I like to fuck.
Bouchon. McCarthy. Bazinski. Jeffries. Burchett. McCarthy. Burgess. McCarthy. Burleson. McCarthy. Bush. Jeffries. Calvert. McCarthy.
Calvert is such a
Kemet.
stupid name.
McCarthy.
My name was Calvert. I'd change it to something
Caraveo.
else.
Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Jeffries. Carey. McCarthy.
No. That never Kevin McCarthy votes flipped to McCarthy. They were voting for someone else and holding up McCarthy's nomination.
Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. McCarthy. Carter of Louisiana.
He can only spare like 2 more votes. If you see 2 more pop up in that others category, he is done.
McCarthy. Cartwright. Jeffries. Kassar. Jeffries. Case. Jeffries.
Also, Dirty Curdy, good afternoon.
Jeffries. Castor of Florida.
Is Dirty Curdy a dance you can do to an old-timey bluegrass
Jeffries.
song? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you do a jig. It's a jig you do.
Sherferless McCormick. Jeffries. Chu. Jeffries. Cicilline. Jeffries. Ciscomani. McCarthy. Clark of Massachusetts. Jeffries. Clark of New York. Jeffries. Cleaver. Jeffries.
I don't know about you guys, but I mean, we're only in the C's. He's got 2 more votes he can spare.
Cloud.
1 more vote to spare.
McCarthy. Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde. McCarthy.
Yeah, once again, he was one of the never Kevins that has flipped his vote today. Kevin McCarthy closer to the House speakership than he has ever been.
McCarthy. Collins.
But still looks like he's going to fall short.
Comer. McCarthy. Connolly.
He may need 218 now. C-SPAN had speculated. 1 Republican has come back to the session, and that should raise the threshold to 218.
Correa. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney.
Now remember, McCarthy doesn't even have to flip
Jeffries.
some of the never Kevin votes
Crane.
to McCarthy votes. It would help him if he did, but if he get a few of them to vote present, that lowers the threshold, and he wins the majority, which he will if he's got 213 now.
Crenshaw.
Somebody say Dan Crenshaw? I'd give anything to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole.
Crow. Jeffries.
I'm sorry, Steelers doesn't find that amusing. Do you think Steelers only has 1 eye?
Curtis.
Hitting a little too close to home. I'm pissing a little too close to home for him.
Jeffries. Davidson. McCarthy.
I cracked myself up.
Davis of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries. Dean of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. DeGette.
What Diener said.
Jeffries. Dela Cruz.
There is a 3rd other vote.
DeLauro. Jeffries.
I'm pretty sure that Kevin McCarthy is not winning this.
Jeffries. DeLuzio. Jeffries. Desaulnier. Jeffries.
DeSunny.
Desjardins. McCarthy.
Ray says it's still 217.
Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy.
As I said, it was only speculation on C-SPAN
Diaz-Balart.
that the one returning representative.
Diaz-Balart.
Apparently, the Democrats were the ones arguing that. Like, oh, it's 218 now. 4 ruins him.
Doggett.
We're only in the D's.
Donalds.
I'm not exactly sure, John Andrew.
Duarte. McCarthy.
That's part of the thing. That's, you know.
Duncan.
It's a personal vendetta, perhaps.
Florida. Dunn of Florida. McCarthy.
Yeah, one of them is back for this vote that wasn't there for the last vote.
McCarthy.
But it may or may not have changed the threshold. We don't know for sure.
McCarthy. Emmer. McCarthy. Escobar. Jeffries.
For some reason, like, the side of my mouth feels like somebody just punched me in it. Like, did one of you, like, punch a voodoo doll or some shit?
Jeffries. Estes.
What the fuck?
McCarthy. Evans.
Kevin McCarthy? Absolutely not. He was totally behind Trump. He might have taken a
McCarthy. Fallon.
A harsher stance with Trump.
McCarthy.
Is that the right word?
Finstra. McCarthy. Ferguson.
Post January 6th, he
Finstad.
Took a hard stance against Trump, but then like within weeks he was down to Mar-a-Lago sucking Trump's cock again.
Fitzgerald. McCarthy. Fitzpatrick. McCarthy.
Trump is pro-McCarthy.
McCarthy. Fletcher. Jeffries. Flood. McCarthy. Foster. Jeffries. Fushi. Jeffries. Fox. McCarthy. Lois Frankel. Jeffries. C. Scott Franklin. McCarthy. Frost.
This is the post January 6th suckling of Trump's taint that Kevin McCarthy did.
McCarthy. Gates.
Or he went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. There you go. Kevin McCarthy does not have the votes.
McCarthy. Gallego. Jeffries. Garamendi. Jeffries. Garbarino. McCarthy. Mike Garcia. McCarthy. Robert Garcia. Jeffries. Garcia of Illinois. Jeffries. Garcia of Texas. Jeffries. Jimenez. McCarthy. Golden of Maine. Jeffries.
Here is Trump just this week.
Jeffries.
Calling on Republicans to back. Wait a minute. Did they not include the video?
Gomez.
Well, shit, the Hill.
Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez.
You fuckers.
McCarthy. Vicente Gonzalez. Jeffries. Good of Virginia. Jordan. Gooden of Texas.
It was the morning of January 6th. This is a different feeling on it.
Gosar.
I get an ad.
McCarthy.
Let's see if CNN has the video. Apparently, I might have to go to Truth Social to get the fucking video.
Granger.
Because just nobody gives a shit what Trump thinks. Oh yeah, CNN doesn't play in this browser. That's right.
McCarthy.
Hold on.
Graves of Missouri. McCarthy. Green of Tennessee. McCarthy. Green of Texas.
Welcome. Cast my vote on behalf of the thousands of black people who were lynched mercilessly in our country.
Is that Representative Green? He always got to have a speech.
Jeffries.
Joe, my man, give it
Green
up.
of Georgia. McCarthy. Griffith. McCarthy.
Oh, maybe it was just a post. Maybe it wasn't.
Jeffries.
Maybe it wasn't a video.
Klinsmann.
I thought he actually released a
McCarthy.
video.
Guest. McCarthy. Guthrie. McCarthy.
He said it's now time for all of our great Republican House members to vote for Kevin, all caps. Close the deal, take the victory.
Harder of California. Jeffries. Harris.
Kevin McCarthy does not have the votes. He has lost yet again. Did we have another flip? It ain't enough.
McCarthy.
That's what I'm surprised one of these old fucks didn't want to just call it the 14th vote.
Hearn. McCarthy.
Guthrie? I've never met a Guthrie before. I know an Arlo Guthrie. A Woody Guthrie.
New York.
Figures all leftists should be familiar with.
Hill.
Andy Harris flipped.
McCarthy. Himes.
Still not going to be enough.
Jeffries. Henson. McCarthy. Horsford.
C-SPAN waiting until we get to 6 votes. Am I a liberal? No.
McCarthy. Houlihan.
I am whatever political philosophy allows me to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir.
Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon.
C-SPAN gone wild.
Hudson.
They living in sexual anarchy out there on the House floor.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Jeffries. Huizinga. McCarthy. Hunt.
It's an eye piss party.
Hunt. Issa.
How am I doing what?
McCarthy. Ivy.
Now I'm putting graphics on the screen. It's magic. Watch this one. Let's do content warning, fuckers.
North Carolina. Jeffries. Jackson of Texas.
I'll even have a haunting Jordan Peterson come at you.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Jackson Lee.
We'll see who cancels who.
Buddha Bean, my friend. Are we kicking authority in the balls?
He's kicking
Jeffries.
authority in the balls.
Jacobs.
What program is that?
Jacobs.
It's not a program. It's just graphics I've made.
McCarthy. Jayapal. Jeffries. Jeffrey.
Yeah. I mean, I used After Effects to make them.
Jeffries.
Sassy, do you work in Photoshop? Is your Photoshop just every time it updates just being a dick, or do you just are you in Illustrator all the time?
Jeffries.
Because I about punched my monitor today because Photoshop is not cooperating.
Johnson of Ohio.
Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson of South Dakota.
Man, I missed out on saying they had 69 votes.
Jordan. McCarthy. Joyce of Ohio.
Squid, my friend.
Joyce of Pennsylvania.
That's
McCarthy.
I've got to stay up to date because it's like
Jeffries.
my work software.
Captor.
Yeah, I need to turn off automatic updates apparently. Who's going to be president in 2025? Probably the safest bet would be Joe Biden.
Keating. Jeffries. Kelly of
Sharpie Diesel.
Jeffries.
Welcome in.
Kelly of Mississippi.
Buddha Bean giving out the gift sub. Hell yeah, Buddha Bean, I love you already. Coming in here and already being magnanimous to the community.
Kana. Jeffries.
I mean, like a lot of times they're adding shit to the programs that do make them better.
McCarthy.
I appreciate the updates.
Jeffries.
Give me that eye pussy.
McCarthy. Kilmer. Jeffries.
We're fucked up around here. We're very fucked up. We do real news, but we do it, you know, in a humorous way.
Krishnamurthy.
Justin, are you trolling?
Jeffries. Custer.
Had to take a moment to bitch about Photoshop, though, because it's been giving me a hard time. My libraries won't load. Sky Comet throwing some bits around. I love you so much. Guy comment getting ready to get off work. That's why she's happy.
McCarthy. LaMalfa.
Buddha Bean. Throwing out the sub. Hell yeah. Thank you guys for your support.
Landsman.
It means the world.
Jeffries. Langworthy.
Don't ever do it if you don't have the money. I try to fuck over the commercials on Twitch as best I can. I play them, but I play them all at once, and when like
Larson.
I go and take a piss break and shit, we come back.
Latta.
But that's during the normal show, which is Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
McCarthy.
This is our special report. What did I name this shit? The Battle for Speaker of the House, Episode 5, The Kevpire Strikes Back. Man, oh, I called it with that one, didn't I? It really is the Kevpire Strikes Back. I thought yesterday's was the best. A new Nope.
Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania.
Yesterday's was Battle for the Speaker of the House, Episode 4, A New Nope.
Lesko. McCarthy.
Well, my library's load up. I can see everything in my library, but it's grayed out.
McCarthy.
And like if I click on it, like usually I can click on it and say edit, and it'll open up. And because I really lean heavily on the libraries, because like that's the selling point for Adobe for me, because I work in so many different programs.
Lucas.
Having a reservoir where I can just open shit in whatever program I need it, and it's all like right there in the library is so fucking neat.
Luna.
Income with the sub. Guy comment giving out the sub. God, I love you guys so much.
Lynch.
And I can't believe you guys are showering me with love while I'm bitching about Photoshop.
Mace.
Hold on, I think I might have a cat at the door. Do you guys want to see a cat?
Baliotakis. McCarthy. Mann. McCarthy. Manning. Jeffries. Massey. McCarthy. Mast.
Duh kitty. This is Socrates.
Mast.
Very unhappy.
McCarthy. Matsui. Jeffries. McBeth.
Aggressive aunt. Good afternoon.
Jeffries. McCarthy. McCarthy.
Yeah, I know they store stuff offline, so I don't know why that's an issue. I got cat hair all over my face now. So yeah, we've had another defection from the Never Kevin. C-SPAN is not going to call it that Kevin's hopes have been sunk until we get to 6 votes.
McCarthy. McCullum.
Kevin McCarthy looking awful happy now.
McCullum. Jeffries.
Does he have it in the bag? Is he gonna pull it out?
McCormick. McCarthy. McGarvey.
Maybe I need to just clear the caches. That's a good idea, Sassy.
Jeffries. McHenry.
But I've searched it online and nobody else is having the same issue as me.
Jeffries.
That's what is boggling my mind.
Jeffries. Maine.
Usually you have an issue.
Muser. McCarthy. Infumit.
Well, I mean, I think I got it set to, clear itself out after like 100 gigs or something like that.
McCarthy.
So she was a Never McCarthyer, but she switched last vote.
McCarthy. Miller of West Virginia. McCarthy.
Because, I really do, as much work as I do in Photoshop and After Effects and Premiere.
Mills.
For both this show and my everyday work, my
Mills.
caches fill up fast.
Molinaro. McCarthy. Molinaro.
But also, I have, multiple 10 terabyte drives.
Mooney.
Because, I have to. I deal in files that are goddamn huge.
McCarthy. Moore of Utah.
And I record every one of these.
Moore of Utah.
So like I have a copy of this right now, but I don't save them.
Jeffries. Moran. McCarthy.
I record them and make clips and shit off of this file. And then they just exist online after that.
Jeffries. Moulton. Jeffries. Mervan. Jeffries.
Let me think on that, Sassy, and I'll get back to you.
Jeffries.
Is it internal or external?
McCarthy.
It's external because you're saying it won't mount. Does it have one of the little bases on it? Is it one that you snap into a base?
Jeffries. Neal. Jeffries. Nagoose. Jeffries. Nels. McCarthy. Newhouse.
You said the drive won't mount.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Mount.
Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. McCarthy.
So it don't have a little base it snaps to. That's not its power supply.
McCarthy. Obernolte. McCarthy. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles. McCarthy. Omar. Jeffries.
But this is going to be close.
McCarthy.
Taking bets, guys. Is McCarthy going to pull it out?
Jeffries. Palmer. McCarthy. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pasquale.
Pull it out. That's what she said.
You live in
Pasquale.
sexual anarchy.
Jeffries.
Why does everything sound sexual to me? I've just got a dirty mind. Overlook me.
Jeffries. Pelosi.
Maybe I need a pervert troll emote.
Jeffries.
Have like a GIMP mask on and shit.
Jeffries. Pence. McCarthy. Perez. Jeffries. Perry. Perry. Peters. Jeffries.
Did Perry not vote? Perry was one of the Never Kevins that voted for Kevin last round.
Pfluger.
Pfluger.
McCarthy. Phillips. Jeffries. Pingree. Jeffries. Pocan.
Oh my God, is somebody going to pull the John McCain and go up at the last minute and like do a thumbs down?
Posey.
When they call for the people that didn't vote to go back to the well?
Presley.
Is some asshole going to go up there and... That would be great. That would be great.
Quigley. Jeffries. Ramirez.
Because, yeah, I may have been premature.
Raskin.
I thought 5 did him in.
Jeffries.
C-SPAN is waiting until 6.
Reschenthaler. McCarthy. Rogers of Washington. McCarthy. Rogers of Alabama. McCarthy. Rogers.
This is enthralling.
McCarthy. Rose. McCarthy.
Why does that dude look like the like Unsolved Mysteries dude?
Jordan.
Boom, there it is.
Ross.
McCarthy for sure does not have the votes.
Rouser.
He has lost the 13th vote for Speaker.
Roy. McCarthy. Ruiz.
What, McCain going and doing the thumbs down?
Rupersberger.
Jeffries.
Jeffries. Rutherford.
C-SPAN's still not calling it, but I don't think he yes, Progressive Aunt, please share some good news.
Salazar. McCarthy.
I need a something like Majority Report has to show far. Like I need a something like that I give you for a good news.
Santos.
Sky Comet, you're a mod, aren't you? Yeah, you're a mod. You just go to the mod view and start a prediction.
McCarthy.
Please.
Scanlon.
Make more polls and shit.
Schakowsky. Jeffries.
I want you guys to talk about my poll.
You live in sexual anarchy.
Snyder.
C-SPAN now saying McCarthy does not have the votes.
Bolton. Jeffries.
Oh, that's awesome, Progressive Aunt. I am so glad to hear that.
Schweikert.
I've got so many friends that
Austin.
finding the they need something, but finding the right medication that hits in the right sweet spot is always an issue. The right dosage of the right medication.
McCarthy. Sessions. McCarthy. Sewell.
The new drug is ketamine. Party in the USA. Hell fucking yeah.
Jeffries.
I assume it was like a low dose or something.
Jeffries. Simpson.
I don't know how that shit works. I mean, I know how drugs work. I'm pretty pro-drug. Can I say that? Can I say that on stream?
Smith of Missouri. McCarthy. Smith of Nebraska. McCarthy. Smith.
Kevin McCarthy now has 169 votes.
Smith.
Nice.
Jeffries. Smucker. McCarthy.
Huh, interesting. I'm all about,
Soda.
They've been doing experiments with like psychoactives and shit for depression. I'm all about it. We need to lift the ban on drugs.
McCarthy.
We need to study this shit thoroughly because
Stansberry.
There's shit that there may be something to this microdosing. I've always been on the side of the drug. I think the drugs long ago won the war on drugs.
Stauber. McCarthy.
I used to do drugs.
Steele.
I still do, but I used to too.
McCarthy. Stefanik. McCarthy. Style. McCarthy. Stubbe. McCarthy. Stevens.
Guy asked me if I wanted a frozen banana now, and I said no, but I might want a regular banana later.
Strickland.
So I said yes.
Jeffries. Strong. McCarthy. Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Takano. Jeffries.
I mean, I do too. I mean,
McCarthy.
I advocate that for the children's.
Jeffries. Thompson of California.
I've quit saying it. I probably shouldn't even play the graphic either. But I've quit saying it because I've been informed that might be terms of service. It might violate terms of service.
Tiffany. McCarthy.
And I just love that graphic so much. I sell a t-shirt with it on.
Timmons. Titus.
Thank you, Buddha Bean.
Tlaib. Jeffries. Takuda. Jeffries. Tonko. Jeffries. Torres of California.
God damn it, Socks. Are you going to want out again?
Jeffries.
I have been very lazy. And here we are with these vote tallies and shit. There's all this math going on. I wanted to make a Scott Steiner math drop.
Jeffries. Trone.
He's like, you got a 66 and 2/3% chance. Did we have another defection from the Never McCarthy caucus? Or is this the dude that came back that wasn't present earlier? Did he fall down, break an arm or some shit? Oh my God, that staffer! That staffer just tried to shake his hand, and his hand is in a sling. Oh my God, that's embarrassing.
McCarthy. Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo.
Peeing on Dan Crenshaw. Did somebody say peeing on Dan Crenshaw? I want to pee in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole.
McCarthy. Van Dyne. McCarthy. Van Orden. McCarthy. Vargas.
Fox gets restless.
Jeffries.
He wants to go outside.
Vasquez.
Or go out into the rest of the house. Well, there's definitely not going to be a winner on the 13th vote, but like he's inching closer.
Velasquez. Jeffries.
Can he make a deal with, what, one or two more people? Let's see how this is going to shake out.
Wahlberg.
I mean, if he just needs one more vote, it's possible he could get it on the next ballot if he sweetens the deal enough.
Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries. Waters.
I was not expecting there to be this much headway. I thought he was going to lose votes again.
Watson Coleman.
I have to eat my words. I thought Kevin McCarthy's political career was done, but the motherfucker has almost whipped enough votes.
McCarthy. Webster of Florida.
A 14th speaker vote possible today.
Winstrup. McCarthy. Westerman.
I would say they'll keep voting.
Wexton. Jeffries. Wild. Jeffries. Williams of Georgia.
I guess it's good for me. Like it's like this is easy content.
Williams of New York. McCarthy.
I think it's because he only has one eye, Rocky.
McCarthy.
I may not be correct on this one. Maybe there's just a fucked up eye under there or something. I'm pretty sure he ain't got no eye.
McCarthy. Whitman. McCarthy. Womack.
He has what one would call an eye pussy.
Yackham. McCarthy. Zinke.
I do believe pay is paused, but it's not like this week, it's next week. I know their staffers quit getting paid. I don't think Congress people actually get paid until the end of the month.
The reading clerk will now call the names of the members-elect who did not answer the first call of the roll.
So a lot missing this time. McCarthy does not have the votes.
Adderholt. McCarthy. Emiday. McCarthy. Arrington. McCarthy.
Well, he keeps getting closer, so I can't say it's going to be it for McCarthy.
McCarthy.
He's like flip one or two more people, and he's there. And I was not expecting this today.
Buck.
My name is Buck, and I like to fuck.
Klein.
Wiggle your big toe. Wiggle your big toe.
Correa. Jeffries. Diaz-Balart. McCarthy. Donalds. McCarthy.
Donalds votes for McCarthy. He was one of the flips.
Duncan. McCarthy. Hunt. Hunt. Capter. Jeffries.
So there's 211 for the Democrats. I don't know, like, if somebody was missing from the Democratic caucus.
Mace. McCarthy.
Buck is a dog. Married with children. Was it Buck?
Mills. McCarthy.
Was it Married with Children? I think.
Moore of Utah.
Hell yeah.
McCarthy.
Well, we watched when we did Christmas specials. One of the ones we watched was Married with Children.
Perry.
That might have been fresh in my mind. Oh, I'd like to think I probably would have known that though, because I love Married with Children.
Slotkin. Jeffries.
Yeah, Bud was the son. Alfonso.
Timmons. McCarthy.
There have been rumors swirling about them doing a reboot, a soft reboot, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, there is 212 for the Democrats.
Their members-elect who did not answer the call of the roll, they may come to the well and vote at this time.
Yeah, there's still a couple missing, I think. Or these should have 215. A little pause in the action. It'll be about a 5-10 minute period here. Maybe longer. This was the end of the 13th vote. We will possibly see the 14th vote momentarily after the reading of the official tally. McCarthy looks confident and extra shiny. Somebody mentioned he looked shiny earlier. His forehead is definitely glistening. You are a shiny bitch. Who is still outstanding as of right now. He needs 4 votes. I think there's a couple more. He should end up with 215, 216. 218 is the magic number. Perhaps 217. We don't really know. We don't know how many people are on the floor right now.
A live shot of Kevin McCarthy there after the 13th speaker's vote. He has still not secured the gavel. That latest vote, 214 votes for Kevin McCarthy, 212 votes.
There are 434, but one is missing. So, like, apparently there's one missing from the tally right now.
Magic number today with 432 members on the floor as of that latest vote.
Don't ask me to do math.
17 votes needed to secure the speaker's gavel. The 6 Republicans who voted against...
There's one missing right now.
Voted for another candidate besides Kevin McCarthy in that 13th round. Andy Biggs of Arizona, Lauren Boebert...
Mitt Romney is a senator.
Eli Crane of Arizona, Matt Gaetz of Florida, Bob Good of Virginia, Matt Rosendale of Montana. Notably, Andy Harris of Maryland switched his vote, and there is Andy Harris there on the top right of your screen. He switched his vote last round in this latest round to Kevin McCarthy, showing more momentum towards Kevin McCarthy. 2 tweets on the latest.
But
right
still
now,
not enough.
Inside the McCarthy team, Manu Raju of CNN saying that they're trying to clinch the speakership today. They're seeing whether any of the absent members can return and whether they can flip some of the holdouts. Jake Sherman of Punchbowl News saying Republican leadership expects and hopes to get Ken Buck and Wesley Hunt, two Republicans who are not on the floor right now, to return to Washington tonight to help elect Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker. That would put
so they're not even in town.
4 total members on the floor if they return. It would make the magic number for the speakership 218. We're finished with the 13th round. We're waiting for the official tally. Live coverage here on C-SPAN.
So we're at 217 right now. Either way, he still needs 2 votes, so I don't know why it matters if they're there or not. So it looks like we're doing this again. Get ready for another rodeo. Buddha Bean, I kind of agree with you on that one. And yeah, they are going to wreak terror on this session of Congress. Wreck? Reap? Who the fuck knows? I don't even know anymore. I'm not high enough for this shit. I kind of have to pee. I would give anything in the world to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go settle for a toilet. Biden speaking right now, you say?
Joining these law enforcement officers honorees are
about January 6th.
Ruby Freeman.
You guys enjoy Joe.
Her daughter, Shay Moss. Her where are you guys?
Come on, man.
Sitting up there, right in the middle. They were election workers from Atlanta, Georgia. Ruby, who for years has taken time away from running her own business to work in election season to honor voting rights and heritage of her beloved city. Her daughter, Shay, who learned from her grandma how older generations of her family fought so hard to even get the right to vote. So Shay decided to become a full-time election worker to help the elderly, the disabled, the students exercise their fundamental right to vote. Both of them were just doing their jobs until they were targeted and threatened by the same predators and peddlers of lies that would fuel the insurrection. They were literally forced from their homes, facing despicable racist taunts. But despite it all, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss found the courage to testify openly and honestly to the whole country and the world about their experience, to set the record straight about the lies and defend the integrity of our elections. Ruby and Shay, you don't deserve what happened to you, but you do deserve the nation's eternal thanks for showing the dignity and grace of we, the people. Presumptuous of me, but I'm so proud of you both. So proud of you both. Albert Schmidt, a former Republican city commissioner in Philadelphia, who spent a decade overseeing nonpartisan counting of votes. But like so many other local election workers, in 2020, he was harassed and threatened as he did his job faithfully. He did not bend. He did not bow. He did not yield to the political threats and pressure. And he's so trusted by both political parties that the new Democratic governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro,
maybe his solemn voice,
Secretary of State, a Republican, ensure that the integrity of the elections. That's a high compliment. His character and his commitment speak volumes of we, the people. That's what we also see in Jocelyn Benson, twice elected Michigan Secretary of State.
Did you say Austin Bennett?
And have that vote counted fairly. That's what she did in 2020 when she oversaw a record number of Michiganders turn out to vote in that election, only to find an armed mob outside of her home on Christmas Eve when she and her son were decorating their Christmas tree inside. But she refused to back down. She'd done her duty. She'd kept her oath. Full of integrity.
Good duty.
She is a true leader in our nation. And thank you for what you've done. And finally, Rusty Bowers, a former Republican Speaker of the House in the state of Arizona. When I met him today, I said, I hope I'm not hurting your reputation. Where are you, Rusty? See, he's hiding behind you. He's able to do that.
Was that a fat joke? Come on, Joe.
We agree on all things. We agree on what this country's about, though. We agree that public service is not without...
Come on, man.
It's not about what you're willing to do to win. It's about what you're willing to lose over. What you're willing to lose over. Rusty put his obligation to the Constitution and his country ahead of everything when he refused intense political pressure to decertify the 2020 election results. His courage is probably the reason why he's lost his primary last year. Rusty, you're an example, is a demonstration to every young man and woman thinking about entering politics about what integrity is all about. I'm not exaggerating. Thank you for...
But does he have intelligence and intensity? With 3 eyes, motherfuckers. That's what it takes to succeed in this game.
My fellow Americans, I want you to give one round of applause again for today's recipients of the Presidential Citizens Medal, patriots who have performed exemplary deeds in the service of this great nation. And let me close with this. 82 years ago on this very day in 1941,
but he said he wanted me to clap.
Franklin Roosevelt delivered a State of the Union address that became known as his famous For Freedom speech, as he defined America's place in the world. He reminded the American people of, quote, the strength from the things which have been done to make its people conscious of their individual stake in the preservation of democratic life in America. Things that have toughened the fiber of our people, renewed their faith, and strengthened the devotions of the institutions we make ready to protect. End of quote. 80 years ago, after that speech on this day, 2 years ago, we were reminded about the most fundamental of things, democracy itself. As I've said before, we face an inflection point in our nation's history. On January 6th is a reminder that there's nothing guaranteed about our democracy. Remember learning in undergraduate school, high school, that every generation is required to earn it, defend it, protect it. I was a senator for a long time. I was vice president, been president. I'd have to tell you.
Oh, we know, Joe, we know.
I think, looking back on it, that it was just permanent in the United States. It just was eternal. Nothing would happen. That's why I was so pleased to see Democrats and Republicans work together to pass the Electoral Count Reform Act that I just signed into law to protect the will of the people and the peaceful transfer of power. And defending and protecting our democracy also means that despite our differences of opinion, we must say clearly, with a united voice, that there's no place, none, zero place in America for voter intimidation, zero, never, and political violence. They're completely contrary to the notion of democracy. You know, America's a land of laws and not chaos, a nation of peace and not violence.
I know, it's pretty chaotic right now.
Kings and dictators, autocrats and extremists. As we see in today's honorees, we're a nation of we the people.
Now, this is commemorating January 6th.
Our fiber, renew.
He just signed the Electoral Count Act the other day.
Just remember who in God's name we are. We're the United States of America. Not a joke. We're the United States of America. And there's nothing. There is nothing. There has never been a single thing.
We ain't special, sir.
We've failed to accomplish. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
I don't like this American exceptionalism.
Remember who in God's name we are. So God bless you all, and may God protect our troops, and may God protect those who stand watch over our democracy.
God.
The opportunity and the great honor to award the medals to these incredible individuals and their representatives. Lieutenant Commander Shields, would you come and please read the citations?
So we'll stick with this until we see the clerk head up to the well of the House.
Medal recipients: Jocelyn Benson.
Hail Satan.
Jocelyn Benson was elected twice by the people of Michigan as their Secretary of State, where she continues her steadfast commitment to protect the right to vote and the integrity of our election.
Yeah, this is the woman that had the mob outside of her house.
In 2020, she administered an election with record turnout and certified the results in the face of unprecedented pressure and threats, including armed protesters outside her home. We, the people, honor the undaunted and unflinching Michigan Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, who continues her exemplary public service to advance free and fair elections in our nation.
I think he's Jocelyn. I'm sorry you had to endure idiot-ass right-wingers outside of your house.
Russell Bowers. An artist, rancher, and fourth
You need to shine up your head. It's not quite as shiny as Kevin McCarthy's.
People of Arizona for almost 2 decades.
The turtle wax out.
Speaker of the House. In a dire hour of our democracy, he put country before party by refusing attempts to decertify the 2020 election and overturn the will of the people. He endured menacing protests, including at his home, and eventually lost an election.
Oh yeah, I'm not making light of it.
Actions. We, the people, honor Rusty Bowers, a public servant guided by a deep.
I mean, I make light of everything, but yes, I agree with you. They are heroes. They deserve the awards they are getting. This is the Presidential Citizens Medal. And I do believe that's that one lady that was so cool from Georgia that was harassed. I love her.
A champion college football.
I think she owns some kind of a shop or something.
Has put his protective instincts to a higher purpose as a U.S. Capitol Police officer. On January 6, 2021, he rushed to protect injured fellow officers fighting back insurrectionists. His powerful testimony describing violence and stinging racism laid bare the day's facts for history. And his advocacy.
We are going back to the floor of the House here. This is the official tally. I think we were on ABC or CBS News just a second ago. They had zoomed into the lectern. Oh, maybe I went back too soon. I'm sorry.
Sixth, 2021, she helped stop.
You can see the clerk is still
even after being knocked unconscious
tallying
in the mob's first brutal surge.
But she has taken the lectern
as a police union board member and peer counselor, and her congressional testimony will help ensure their valor is never forgotten. For her courageous defense of our democracy and service to fellow officers, we the people honor U.S. Capitol Police Officer Caroline Edwards.
Caroline. Once again, I keep fucking like 90s hip hop. What is it? Today's stream has been like all 90s fucking hip hop.
Michael Fanone.
I've got a clip of Michael Fanone we're gonna play eventually. He's always getting rowdy about something. I believe it's in regards to Kevin McCarthy and his bid to become Speaker of the House. So we are awaiting the final tally of the vote. The 13th vote for Speaker. Directly after the tally, they will recognize a member of the House, and they will either put forward a motion to adjourn or nominate Kevin McCarthy yet again for a 14th vote. This motherfucker's got a Facebook out over here. What the fuck is that going on? Is maybe possibly headshots for people that could be staffers? Maybe he's learning the names of other Congress people? This could be a sheet of incoming Congress people, maybe? To familiarize themselves with the freshman members of the House?
House clerk from the 13th round of voting. In that round, it was Congressman Andy Harris, the Republican from Maryland, who changed his vote from not Kevin McCarthy to the McCarthy column. His tweet just about 5 minutes ago on his latest vote in the 13th round. Washington and Congress are broken, said the congressman. If the agreement that we were able to finalize over the last few days is implemented, it will be the greatest change in how the House operates and becomes much more responsive to the American people in at least 2 generations. That's a tweet from Andy Harris. Congressional reporter Michael Schnell saying after the current vote,
Kevin McCarthy has given them everything they wanted.
To adjourn today until 10 p.m. So that might be the path forward, an effort to perhaps see if Kevin McCarthy...
Well, Chainsaw, if you're still here, it might be going until the show.
Who are missing and back in their districts, 2 members who have voted.
At some point in time, this might turn into a mukbang and you see me eat barbecue.
Of Colorado, with the hope to get them back and add their votes to the McCarthy column of note.
Gates usually stops paying attention to things around 18. Oh.
Then Democrat Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, in the 12th round. It was 213 votes for Kevin McCarthy to 211 for Jeffries. In this latest round, the 13th round, it was 214 votes for McCarthy and 212 for Jeffries. Again, those are the unofficial tallies. We're waiting for the official tally from the clerk. And these live shots that we're showing you on the House floor brought to you by C-SPAN controlled cameras in the chamber. A bit unusual today. We can get a bit more of a flavor of what's going on the floor, something we don't normally get to.
Getting flavor on C-SPAN.
Taking advantage of it. 3 camera operators in the United States House showing you, in the House of Representatives, showing you all of these angles. We also have access to that overhead shot that you've seen on occasion looking...
Motherfucker, you can't play shit in the background.
But with no...
What kind of show you think this is?
And controlling the cameras in the chamber, C-SPAN is bringing you all these conversations, all these sidebars.
Lenny, good evening.
All week long. Live coverage of...
You're going to come on my fucking stream and play something in the background? Fuck you, I'll do it myself. No chainsaw tonight on the Free Show. What the hell? Not even gonna pay attention to the show. I run a tight ship around here, motherfucker. We may have a troll head for a I was thinking the same goddamn thing. We may have a troll head for a logo. But I'm still rehearsals. Am I not dealing with a professional around here? Once again, this may turn into a mukbang because I got some barbecue baked beans and some coleslaw, some motherfucking barbecue pork to eat. And after you smoke so many bongs, you do get the munchies. Said he was gonna play like Hello Kitty Island or some shit in the background. What the fuck is that shit? I'm gonna play a Hello Kitty game. What? Phoebe, good afternoon or good evening. Are we into the evening hours yet? Oh, it's only 3 o'clock. God, it feels so much later in the day. Somebody making a big oof on the floor of the house. Catch everybody up. Kevin McCarthy has actually made headway and is closer to being Speaker of the House than he has been at any point in time. However, he is still 3 votes short. Floated the idea like I would go to work for C-SPAN. I would love. There's a number of jobs that I could do for C-SPAN. I could be producer, cameraman, graphics guy, director, whatever the fuck. But then it runs into the problem that C-SPAN is probably not going to pay me enough to be able to live in Washington, D.C. And I ain't got no car. That is an issue. That's what I was spitballing with Curious here. I'm like, I go to work for C-SPAN. DC is a city where there's public transportation. She's like, you couldn't afford to live in the city. And I'm like, God damn, you're right. C-SPAN ain't gonna pay me no fucking living in DC salary. Wait a minute, you did say Hello Kitty? I thought I was just fucking making a joke. God damn.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
Once again, the clerk is at the well. That's why I flipped back to the House floor from Joe Biden. You guys want me to go back to the medal ceremony? It might be over with already. Okay, this is the family of Brian Sicknick.
National Guardsman who served 2 tours overseas. Brian Sicknick was a U.S. Capitol police officer devoted.
His partner. Okay, they are. Goddamn, my timing. She was hitting the gavel. She wants order.
agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 432, of which the Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of
There's two missing.
California has 214.
There are two Republicans missing. They are both McCarthy votes. I don't see how it changes anything.
The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212. The Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 6. No member-elect having received the majority of the votes.
Did somebody create a poll?
The Speaker has not been elected. For what purpose is the gentleman from Louisiana?
Let's see what we're doing here. We doing it again?
With great appreciation for the job that you and your staff have been doing.
This is Steve Scalise. I didn't see the poll results.
Madam Clerk, I move that the House stand adjourned until 10 p.m. tonight.
Until 10 p.m. tonight.
On the motion of the gentleman from Louisiana, those in favor say aye.
Last poll I'm showing is, did anything from the early 2000s age well?
In the opinion... In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it.
Madam Clerk, I request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and noes will rise. A sufficient number hasn't risen. The yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device.
Well, this is interesting. This may just be a delay tactic so they can try to flip another vote.
Deeply moving ceremony inside the East Room.
Oh yeah, we won't be doing politics on the Freak Show. It'll be the Troll Patrol if it's politics.
January 6th.
And recipients depart. Thank you.
President Biden set to depart that room. The backdrop, though, an extraordinarily powerful one. 14 people who have just been awarded the Presidential Citizens Medal for their courage, their bravery, their dignity, he said, on January 6th, whether they were an officer protecting the Capitol from the rioters or an election worker who was simply defending an American's right to vote.
Justin can't do it. Justin can't do it.
Family members who showed up on behalf of their loved ones lost.
I made it like 7 hours on Christmas.
Very obvious that the president...
we did like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour Troll Patrol, and then we did just watching Christmas shit.
One of these lives that were so pivotal on January 6th.
Absolutely, and what stood out to me most was that phrase, "we the people." You heard the president repeating it over and over again, arguing that our democracy...
Where is that music coming from?
Not just because of we the people, but because of these people, that they did far more than...
Is that in the room, in the White House press room?
Dangerous and baseless conspiracy theories, that it's because of these people and their bravery and their moral fortitude that our...
As I said, Justin's going to have to eat fucking barbecue, and apparently on stream here.
The president's warning there at the end of his remarks that our democracy is fragile, that the threats exposed...
Let's see if they adjourn. If they adjourn,
and that now it is incumbent on all of us.
Barbecue off stream. If they don't adjourn,
our democracy,
Justin gonna have to mukbang.
Responsibility going forward.
A Bible I've thought about just reading the Bible on stream.
Congress for us, who was there that day on January 6th reporting for us, and Rachel, I was moved by the fact that these brave Americans behind the president there today were not there because they're Democrats. We don't know whether they're Democrats or Republicans. We know they did their duty that day. And again, whether they were an elections worker or an officer in the days and weeks that led up to January 6th as well. And you could see it, Rachel, in their faces.
Bible bib mukbang. So you want me to read the Bible while eating pork?
Particularly in a
that sounds very blasphemous. I'm into it.
Supported in the year or two since January 6th.
Exactly, David, and that is something where
shredded pork flesh too. Like it's not a sandwich or anything. It's just shredded pork flesh.
Back to a building where they suffered trauma themselves. Since January 6th, it's been 2 years. We have seen these images over and over again, but we've gotten to know the names, their stories. But one thing that has remained clear is their commitment to serve this building. And so many of the officers that you saw
getting a Satan tattoo? I don't know about a Satan tattoo. The tattoo idea that I do have is pretty fucking blasphemous itself.
Rachel Scott, thank you. We should mention Rachel continues.
So I'm sure you could
happening down at the other end.
Accept that instead of a Satan tattoo, couldn't you?
We'll get an update on that in a moment on this race for Speaker on the floor of the House.
I would like the back of the dollar bill, the temple with the Eye of Ra, but I want it to be a tool eyeball. I want the tool eyeball to be on the back of my neck. It would say, I don't know what the fuck it says on the back of the dollar bill, but like my Latin phrase was Deus ipsi sum, I am God himself. And then the pyramid takes up my whole back. One of these days I'll get that done.
People was an extraordinary moment we just witnessed.
It truly was, David. For those officers and those honored today, January 6th will never, ever be simply a date on the calendar. It's a part of their daily lives. And David, it's a challenge that they all endure from a mental health standpoint. And David, I would just add this. For these people, freedom has had and does have a cost.
Freedom isn't free.
No question about that, Pierre. And again, they weren't up there because they're Democrats in a Democratic White House right now. They were up there because they are Americans doing their job on that day, and we can't forget that.
American.
No matter how deeply politicized this has all become. I want to bring in, thank you, Pierre. I want to bring in Rick Klein again. As I alluded to a moment ago, there is the other major story unfolding at the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue, and we are now further along the way here, I guess you could say, the 13th round of balloting, of voting in the House, and it would appear that Kevin McCarthy, Rick, dare I say, is within striking distance potentially here?
Yeah, David, he's as close as he's ever been, within 3 votes of getting the magic number to clinch the speakership. He has flipped a total of 15 votes since the rounds of voting, those endless rounds that concluded last night. Now the House is voting to take a pause, to adjourn until late tonight. 10 p.m. tonight is their proposal. At that time, they're expecting that 2 more McCarthy voters, House Republicans who are out of town on personal business, will be back. If they are back in voting, then McCarthy picks up some support. He would still be, though, at least 2 votes short of getting the speakership, barring some kind of other agreement to get some members to vote present or to skip the vote. He still has some work.
Yay, Scott Comic can go home.
To at least a 14th ballot to determine the House Speaker in a situation this country has not seen in a century and a half.
In a century and a half, for sure. And not to get buried in the numbers, but everyone sees that 6 up there on the board, essentially. And the numbers, the math is slightly different depending on the scenario, depending on if someone says present or if they're not in the room when the next round of voting takes place. But it would look like at this point, Rick, that with 6 hardliners against Kevin McCarthy at this point, he would need to convince 2 more to come his way.
A minimum of 2, and those are the hardest of hardliners. They are the people that have said publicly there is no scenario where they will ever support Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. We'll see if the pressure brought by their colleagues or anything else that can be dangled.
We'll be coming back at 7 p.m. in Cali, it looks like.
In from the start, they have made the start of this Congress very, very difficult for the would-be Speaker.
Yeah, you say the start of Congress hasn't really started officially yet because they're all still waiting to be sworn in 4 days into this. Rick Klein, our political director. Thank you, Rick, as always, for giving us.
It does look like they are going to adjourn till 10 p.m. As you just saw, the Friday Night Freak Show comes on at 10 p.m. It may get preempted.
Until then, have a good day.
Oh, David Muir.
David, thank you
wrapping
so
up.
much. As you just saw, President Biden at the White House telling
I guess we'll stick with her.
January 6, 2021, the infamous Insurrection Day, we need to live up to what you did.
No, we're watching Congress.
All their courage and selflessness during a moment of...
We're going back to Congress. Looks like they will be adjourning until 10 p.m. Then again, like God, there could be Republican votes that flip over to nay and prevent it from happening. Either way, Justin is eating barbecue right after this, whether it's on stream during a 14th vote, or whether it's off stream, which I would prefer, and I'm going to go hang out over there and do it. I'd rather eat over there as opposed to sitting right here. I want to get my ass out of this chair. If we're coming back at 10 p.m. tonight, it is going to be the Troll Patrol. Perhaps I'll bring Chainsaw on. Maybe we'll have Chainsaw on next week. I will conference with Chainsaw between now and then. I will update you guys. I will let everyone know what is going on. Tune in at 10. I will be on at 10 p.m. tonight, one way or another. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you. Because it does look like the motion to adjourn is going to win. One more vote in the yay column and it wins. So yeah, that looks like what we're doing. We're adjourning until 10 p.m. tonight. Stick around at 218 just to be safe, and I'm pretty sure the motion to adjourn has won.
Less than 5 minutes left in this vote on a motion to adjourn. It would be to adjourn the House until 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. In past adjournment votes, there have been some Republican members who have joined with Democrats voting no on adjournment. That doesn't look to be the case this time. Currently 217 votes for an adjournment, 211 against adjournment. 6 members.
I'll talk to you here in a second. I have to get some food in my belly. That's the must happen immediately because I'm starting to feel a little sick.
The speakership in the hours between now and 10 p.m. An expected 14th vote on speaker at 10 p.m. Eastern. Caitlin Collins
Taylor
of CNN.
Somebody shout out Taylor X for me.
Twitter just a few minutes ago.
There is 218 for sure. We are voting to adjourn
That he will have the votes to become
until 10 p.m. tonight. Also, I'm not supposed to have coffee, and I've drank a shit ton of coffee. Coffee on an empty belly.
2 minutes left in this vote on a motion to adjourn.
The motion to adjourn has run. We will be back at 10 p.m. tonight with the Troll Patrol. I'll conference with Chainsaw. We'll see what we're going to do. Let me see who's on right now.
Conversations and have been showing you that all week long. We should be hearing.
I'm going to go eat barbecue. I'm going to depart you guys and take a little break. Get my ass out of the seat. We're going to be back at 10 p.m. tonight. I don't know. I don't think Hildebeest is doing politics, but I love her very much. So you guys are going to Hildebeest. Looks like she's doing something. You guys could use some food in between the politics. So we're gonna go hang out with Hildebeest. Go ahead, light one up. Wait a minute, that doesn't work here. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. However, that doesn't limit your options very much at all. We will see you at 10 p.m. tonight, bitches.